Greetings, Sega fans, and welcome to the podcast for anyone speeding past 35 years old. It's the Sega Guys, and I'm your host, Dan the Mega Driver. And this episode, I have three special guests. First off, jetting in like Sonic and Tails, it's Bedgell and DibbsAhoy of Gaming for Ages. Gents, how you doing?
Very good, man. Very good.
Yeah, nice. Good.
Good to have you.
No better way of spending a Thursday, to tell you that much.
Oh, yeah.
Of course. Of course. And welcome back, Martin Whitehouse, joining us like a Metal Sonic. So I'm expecting some machine-like precision from you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all good. A bit tired from work, but I got home and we are here, so happy.
Yeah. I'm tired of work. I'm tired of the football at the moment as well, so we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, I just saw that score before we started.
Yeah, no one mentioned it.
Okay.
No one mentioned it.
Sonic football games, don't think we had those.
No, exactly. Well, he had a team in Virtua Striker 3, but I don't think we're going to be touching on that today. I mean,
Sore subject.
But it's funny that we're having this conversation because obviously, the topic of this actually came out of a Twitter conversation, but I think it ties in nicely to the fact that Sonic the Hedgehog is 35 years old this year. And doesn't that make you feel ancient?
Oh, man.
Yeah, and not to use a Kashira studio.
I was going to say, is that a pun?
Yes. Well, Bedgell was feeling some ancient just now. I'm sure he'll get his. Out.
I'm going to give you a little teaser. Well, this will come out properly, but I'll just give you a little teaser.
And we'll keep it for our audio listeners. We'll keep that a mystery until it comes out later. But yeah, so Bedgell, I think this was your. You was responding to a thread that you created on X or Twitter when you guys did the Sonic 2 video. Which obviously the content that you guys have been doing recently has been brilliant.
Thanks.
The most recent one was Road Rash 2, which I did love that you had your Dreamcast shirt on in solidarity for the EA wronged Super Console.
Stand strong. Yeah, you got to stand strong against the evil forces.
But yeah, it's a great episode. But so this was you talking. You had your Sonic 2 episode out. And you were talking about, Sonic 2 versus Sonic 3. What's better, Sonic 2 or Sonic 3? And obviously, that elicited a few strong opinions in there. And
that is the classic. I think that's the classic tricky one, or so I thought. And then we started having this discussion. It was like, oh my god, all of the comparisons are tricky. But I mean, it's hard because I get this isn't a spoiler because we go in a different direction in this chat. I know, but. Back then, Sonic 2 was so dominant for us. And although we loved Sonic 3, I never really thought it was in with a look. And then Twitter age, internet age, and the opinion just seems flipped. And I was like, I've got to explore this a bit. I don't know. Thankfully, I think the opinions are equally as strong for each one. And they're both cracking games, so I don't mind which one wins, really. But yeah, no, it's good. It was a good chat. But then, you boys threw some curveballs in and made it even harder.
Yeah, and then that's the point. I said, look, we got to take this argument and turn it into a podcast. And here we are. So obviously, for those of you that might not have read the title, seen the thumbnail or anything like that, we are going to be talking about and discussing and maybe even arguing. And, I'm not going to tell you all to keep it civil. I think the more abuse that we hurl at each other, the more interesting and entertaining it will get. But what is the greatest Sonic the Hedgehog game? And I thought we'd touch on the ones that didn't make it. And there's a few controversial decisions in here. But I thought the first one that we got to touch on is the very first Sonic the Hedgehog game on the Mega Drive. None of us nominated it. And I don't think it was in many people's top fives, which I think is really unfair because I've been playing that game a lot recently for various reasons. Obviously, with the anniversary coming up, I've got a video for the Arcade 1-Up that I did talking about the Mega Play version where you don't get extra lives and you skip the Marble Zone and the Labyrinth Zone. You can only get that version on the Switch currently. So, and it's still got a real magic about it. It's still one of the all-time great games, but no one picked it.
I'd say that magic. It is still really magic, and I don't know, gameplay wise, I do get the most fun out of the ones we're about to talk about, but it's very special, and it does feel very, very alive and magic still to play it. I did a video of Green Hill Zone the other day, and the reaction that gets is such an evocative, powerful game still. So it's definitely in my. I can't remember if it was in my top 5. It's definitely in my like top 10, and it's still I still love playing it. And it's actually, I always think the gameplay mechanics are so different, I won't enjoy it. It's the core's still there. You know, obviously you don't get all the tricks, but the core is still there.
I think there's a
Yeah,
game that's
absolutely.
like a bedrock, isn't it? Like it's never, it's
Mm.
very rarely someone's number one, but it's just got that baseline where it's always going to be in someone's top 10 and it's always going to be one that you play and just thoroughly enjoy no matter what.
Mm.
Yeah, I've got to agree. There are people that say it's their favorite. They say that there's
Mm.
kind of a purity to it. Some people, I think it's blasphemy. They say the spin dash ruined the flow of the game with Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
No,
But
really.
yeah, and even though it's not my favorite, I do have a soft spot for it. What about you, Dibs? What have you got to?
Yeah.
What you got to say about the first one?
Oh, I mean, the first one just was incredible, really. I mean, like I got it with my Mega Drive for Christmas '92, I think it was, along with Sonic 2 as well. And so I was just really torn between which one to play. I was just kind of mixing it all up. But one of the things I really loved doing with the first game was doing time trials on particular courses, like Spring Yard Act 2. Do you remember there used to be like a Sega champion called Danny Curley in the early 90s? He was
No,
on Games
I,
Master. Yeah, he was
I've got to
he
look
won
him
like
up.
some he was like a big kind of Sega guy, won a bunch of competitions. But I saw him do like a time trial on Spring Yard Act 2 on Games Master, and I thought like, oh, if I can really like focus on these levels, like, it looks really fun trying to play them, and I managed to like do it 1 second quicker or something than what he'd done on Games Master or something. But like, I mean, he was under like a ton of pressure, whereas I was having like 5,000 goes like in my room or something. So it was a lot easier for me. But yeah, that was one of the things that I really enjoyed doing with the first
Mm.
Sonic game. And I mean, the hype for that game was just unbelievable. Just you could like feel it out there, just around the place. Like the kids at my school when they were talking about would like buzzing and stuff, and it was something real special, and it was something exciting, and it was really good capturing the moment. I think those early 90s kind of days, like, I mean, Sonic was hot off the design board, I suppose, and he was a real answer to the whole vibe going on. I think like
Yeah.
the cool, we'd had Mario, like slow podgy plumber kind of guy or whatever previously, and the Sega kind of had moved it on a bit, and I think they answered things really well with Sonic.
Yeah.
Mario. That's got what. Let's just you can sum up Mario in one word: dungarees. I mean, you don't get Naoto Oshima sitting there going, "I know what we should have. Let's put some dungarees on Sonic."
They
Dudes.
worked for Rachel and Friends, I guess, but
Yeah, the one time.
Couldn't even move the screen left in his first game. What's he doing?
Mm.
But you're spot on about those games because I'm probably recognize the segments if I look them up on Games Master because I do remember it was like, and James talks about it as well, like Sonic was on there like every week. It was like a
Mm.
cultural phenomenon. It'd be like, in this challenge, we're going to see who can get past the Green Hill Zone Act 2 in the fastest time.
That was good.
And it was Sonic was everywhere. And I remember there was like even in the playground, there was like a buzz about it. It
Yeah.
was like 1 minute it was like we were talking about Transformers, and the next minute it was Turtles, and then all of a sudden it was this game, Sonic the Hedgehog, and it was like
Mm.
Sonic the Hedgehog and Street Fighter 2 were the two biggest things to
Yeah,
talk
they were
about
the two.
yeah.
I,
Yeah.
always, I always wonder with that, if the time had been different, how I'd feel about it. Because I had the Game Gear Sonic before I ever played Mega Drive Sonic, and so I'd had it ages, completed it. That was Sonic to me, and obviously I knew the Mega Drive Sonic was out there, and I knew it was different. But when I played it, I was like, I don't know, what's this? It's the Game Gear Sonic. Still, I love the speed and the fluidity of it, and it's beautiful Mega Drive Sonic. But I also found it a bit much. The game is so simple. When you play Green Hill Zone, it is quite a blitz on the eyes.
It's a
So
sensory overload
it
almost,
is,
isn't it?
yeah.
Mhm.
So although I liked it, Game Gear Sonic kind of got there first, and so I never clicked with the original Sonic, and I just wondered.
Yeah, no, the thing is, I'm pretty much the same. The first Sonic I played was the Master System Sonic the Hedgehog, and for me, that feels like the ultimate um the ultimate first Sonic game for me. It's like a video game purity to me. I absolutely adore that game.
Well, I
But
think
that's probably giving some spoilers away for our discussion.
well, I think in America, like the Genesis version of Sonic, it was like a lot bigger. But over here, I found a lot more people with 8-bit, like machines still. Like we were kind of catching up a bit, weren't we? Like not everyone seemed to have like 16-bit for quite a while. So you did kind of run into the 8-bit versions of the games a lot more, I think. I mean, the fact it was kind of the last actual Master System game released in America, actually, wasn't it? Like the original Sonic, I think, might have said something, but
Yeah, I mean the fact that America like made it the last game and they were selling the Master System still wasn't selling at like 49.99 with Sonic on it. Whereas over here, the Master System and Mega Drive were being advertised side by side with Sonic on it, and the Master System was like 50 quid. And it was just like compared to 120 quid for a Mega Drive. And you got to imagine that my family were one of them. Like
Mhm.
50 quid for this games console with Sonic the Hedgehog one. There we go. That's a birthday present sorted.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
nailed it.
I didn't even know what a Mega Drive was when I first played the 8-bit Sonic. I played it.
Oh
Thought it
no,
was
same
awesome.
here.
And then like a year later, I saw this Mega Drive playing Sonic 1, and I thought, I mean, I know this character, but it looks bigger and better. Cool.
Yeah, I was similar, but it's like you were saying, Pedro. I was like, it looks better. I'm a little bit overwhelmed. Everything just seems. And then I got to the marble zone, and at the time, I wasn't a fan. Whereas you go into the bridge zone in the 8-bit version, and it's like you're all nice for the first half of the game in the 8-bit one, and it's. I'll talk about the 8-bit one later, and then you get to the industrial one, and whereas on the Mega Drive, it's good level, horrible level, good level, horrible level. All the way through.
Marble Zone's got to take the crown for best second level music, though. Like that
is a
tune
good
is
one.
just.
Yeah, the thing about Sonic the Hedgehog, the original one, is I actually think that might be the best soundtrack out of the classic games.
Controversial. Like, surely the best soundtrack is. No, I'm joking.
Sonic 4. So for our audio listeners, mine just held up a Sonic copy of Sonic 4 soundtrack.
It's not just Sonic 4 episode, it's both episodes together, which includes episode metal. So.
I played that recently for like some footage, and that Sonic 4 will not be in this discussion. It's absolutely terrible.
I'm an eternal apologize for Sonic 4. I don't think it's as bad as everyone makes out.
Oh.
It's clearly nowhere near the best Sonic game. It's miles down the pile, but it's actually a good game in its own right if you play it as it is.
I gave it a good try, but it just didn't click with me. It was the lack of physics when Sonic is like standing on the wall, kind of like that. It's just like, no, this ain't happening.
They did improve it for episode 2 a little bit.
They did, yeah.
It is what it is, and you got played Metal Sonic, so
I'm now just thinking, what if we started? It's not too late to back out, guys. Listen, this is if we're going to go down this route, this podcast is dangerous. This is dangerous territory.
I'm just inviting some abuse. Come on, guys.
Keep the comments civil unless it's talking about Sonic 4, in which case let Martin have it.
Oh, right. Sonic 4 or Sonic 06. That's
Do you know what? I'll go Sonic 06. I beat that game twice, and
Did you?
I wouldn't mind going back to it again.
I physically couldn't beat it because I couldn't get past the bit where it's glitching out so bad that Sonic kept falling through like a highway or something over and over, and it was just like, I think I ran out of lives or something.
Yeah.
I fell off a log bridge multiple times in a pub, and I haven't actually played it since.
I'm a Sonic 4 defender in Sonic 06 defender in so much as when it works, I think it's brilliant. The problem is it only works about 10% of the time.
100% of the time it works 10% of the time.
Right. The next one I was going to say in the honorable mentions, Sonic Adventure. And I think a few of us had this up there. It's probably up there in the top. It's a top 5 Sonic game for me, one of my top 5 favorites, but no one picked it as their favorite. Who else has this one rated pretty highly? I know, Game for Ages chaps, you both did a podcast episode on this.
Yeah, it's a tough one to leave out because I love it. I mean, I'd say overall, I just am massive 2D Sonic fan. I mean, that is more what I love, but it's perfect. I think if I'd have started gaming at that era, strong contender for being right up there. So, you see, there's a lot of our community started with like the N64 generation, PlayStation, sort of late 90s or Dreamcast, and you do see a massive, massive love for Sonic Adventure. And obviously all the lore that's built up around Sonic that people buy into, that's a big part of their love for Sonic as well. And it sort of starts there. So if I'd started gaming there, maybe, but I don't know. I was too entrenched in 2Ds. Like, loved it. But like we were sort of unbelievably like head over heels excited for it to come out and stuff. And obviously, it's still a massive part of it. But as a game, it's just the 2D mechanics is what I'm about. I think so. That's why.
Yeah, I think that it still has the best approximation of the 2D mechanics. You do have some momentum-based physics in there. If you'd have asked me this question in 1999, I will say that this is the greatest game ever made. Sonic Adventure. It was like I was like, this is it. We don't actually have to make any more video games ever again. Like they perfected it. Obviously, I think I played it recently, and I love it. But when you start playing as some of the other characters, you start seeing a few of the chinks in the armor. I think.
Yeah, the timing that they had to get it all delivered and stuff. I mean, they did an amazing job, but yeah, it starts to get a little bit flaky on some of the others. But it's good they're in there, and I love the extra bit. I love the extra ideas. It's funny. I think in the 2D Sonics, the bit I love the most is when you just go nuts, and it's like you're not really platforming; you're just going fast. But in the 3D Sonics, I don't know. It's never quite got me the same way. Maybe just because you're looking forwards, you can kind of see it all coming a bit more. 2D Sonic, you're just completely out of control. I don't know. Something about it just gets me different. But
yeah. What about yourself, Martin? What any thoughts on Sonic Adventure?
I mean, I think it was the very first Dreamcast game I played, and I'd been looking forward to it for a very long time. And when I got to play it, I think I completed it in one sitting. Sat at my cousin's, just went through the whole thing end to end. I don't think my parents even saw me the whole day. And I think one of the things I did like about it, because going on what Bedgell was saying, there are people that sort of started at that end of Sonic and went forward, because people like us had actually started on the earlier ones, like the 2D ones. A lot of the music in Sonic Adventure had actually come from Mega Drive Sonic 3D. And because that was the last Sonic game I'd ever bought, because I unfortunately missed most of the Saturn outside of hearing Sonic R quite a lot, I recognized a lot of the tunes. Was like, oh, I know this one from Green Grove Zone. Amazing. But yeah, no, it is tough to have left Sonic Adventure out, because that and Sonic Adventure 2 are probably the only two 3D Sonics I actually really, really think are great. The rest range from to pretty good, but those are the only two ones I'd truly say are absolutely great.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah, what about yourself, Dibbs? Thoughts of
Yeah,
Sonic
well, I mean,
Adventure?
I was so excited for Sonic Adventure. It was like, I think we spoke in the episode about when the Dreamcast was first getting shown off, and they showed a few shots of like that Godzilla game in Sega Saturn
Yes.
magazine, and it was like, they'd really built it up with a bunch of tech demos and stuff, and then it was like, here's the games, and it was like, this is kind of not quite what I was expecting with the Godzilla thing. But then I think it was the next issue, like the Sonic Adventure stuff had started landing, and it's like, okay, now this is what I'm talking about. It was like you were saying, it looked perfect. It's like I couldn't see anything wrong with it, and I couldn't, even imagine how something could get like much better than Sonic Adventure, because it just ticked every box and looked like everything I wanted a 3D Sonic to be. And I was just buzzing. It was like, seeing what the equivalent of like a Model 3 board could have done to Sonic was like, it was just so exciting. And like, that was the game when I got my Dreamcast on import, because I couldn't wait for the PAL version to come out. So
Yeah,
I had
same.
to that was the first game I picked up with it. And I just like was absolutely buzzing, like playing through it. Didn't know what they were going on about in the story. You couldn't quite figure out where to go sometimes, but I played that through with every character in Japanese. And then when the PAL Dreamcast came out, I picked up the English version as well, so I could actually connect a few dots and realize what was actually happening in the story. But
Yeah.
it was just a brilliant time, and I still love that game. Like I was a little bit pained not to kind of include it as my top game in a way, but yeah, it's right up there for me. Just so exciting, exciting on the level of like Street Fighter 2 almost. Like, it's
Yeah.
that's how it kind of lands for me.
Yeah, I was almost disappointed to play it in English. That's the only thing. I'd grown so accustomed to playing it in Japanese. I'd played it
Yeah,
through like multiple times between like getting my Dreamcast in April to like the PAL release. And when you move from the the Japanese, and you don't know, do you, whether it's good or bad Japanese acting? Like Japanese
sure.
players could be playing it thinking, "This is awful." But you listen to it and it's like, "This is great." And then it's
Yeah.
like, "You are completely surrounded. Surrender yourself."
It reminds me of watching like those old Japanese films where you've got someone like Knuckles just going, "Oh no,
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
what are
The
we
lip
doing?"
syncing's pretty bad in it.
Oh
It's like
man,
Wayne's World 2, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
very well. If that is your custom, we will be dubbed.
I was going to say the same though. I don't like the voice acting in Sonic Adventure. It really puts me off it. Sonic's all right, but Tails is just
He's quite gnarly, isn't
it's
he?
so
You do
annoying.
get such gems as "get a load of this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a load of, get a load of,
Systems,
get a load of
full
this.
power.
And of course, no Sonic Adventure means no 3D games have been nominated at all.
Hmm.
I do love Sonic Frontiers. I know Sonic Unleashed has a lot of fans. I'm not one of them. I think Sonic Unleashed is good for the Sonic sections, and
Hmm.
the rest of the game is bobbins.
Hmm. Here,
I can't
here.
stand the open weird world sections. I can't stand the Werehog sections. I can't stand the fact that you have to pick up the emblems. Aside from that, it's good, and and then I think it's kind of equivalent to Sonic 06 in that respect. In that only about 10% of your time is playing the good bits, and the rest is just crap.
Yeah, the
But no, Sonic
werehog
Front,
killed me.
yeah,
I couldn't be doing with it. It's like, it's kind of starts off and you kind of only have to do levels that are about like 5 minutes or something with him. And I was like, oh, I might be able to handle this. I might be able to manage it. But then like later on, you get to levels where you're having to play as him like for like half an hour or something. And it's
yeah.
like, no, I'm done. That's it.
I go on for an age, and then you play. You're like, oh, classic Sonic level, like Sonic level, day level,
Yeah.
and it's like, boom, it's over in a
Uh-huh.
minute 30, and it's like
Yeah.
back to another 20-minute Werehog section,
Oh
and you can
man.
only unlock the next Sonic level by finding about 60 emblems, and it's like, no, and then you got to talk to Professor Pickle. It's just,
It's still more fun than
Yeah,
playing
ain't
Sonic
no-
and the Secret Rings, though.
yeah, that's one. That's one I've never been able to get on with
It,
either.
that put me off the franchise for a very long time, to the point where I haven't actually properly played '06 or Unleashed. So,
Oh,
and I
okay.
didn't drop back in until Generations. So,
Yeah, it will put you off. I think of all the modern, certainly of the 3Ds, Frontiers did does take top spot, and there are bits where I do love it. I mean, when it clicks and you properly get the speed going. The level design is brilliant. It is great fun. I just find it kind of gets a bit, I don't know, it gets a bit repetitive because there's so much autopilot stuff to it. It's like you can have the best run and come away thinking, God, that was good, and then you'll go back next time and think, I sort of played this last time. And then the open world sections, I don't know. I wouldn't say they were broken, but I kept getting killed
Yeah.
over and over again and just getting stuck. It was kind of again just a bit stop start. Whereas the very best Sonics just don't really have a bad moment. They just start to
Yeah.
finish are amazing. So yeah, it's a good game. I do like it, but not quite up there.
No, I think it's a top five for me. Frontiers, absolutely adore it personally. I
It is.
absolutely
Wow.
adore
I
it.
can see. I
I
can
don't
see it,
like
but yeah.
I don't like having to change the physics using the sliders just to be able to do some of the ridiculously hard bits. Like, why have I got to change his starting speed and air brake? Like, why can't it just be how it's supposed to be? Like,
Yeah,
why?
I do get. I think I have this theory called the Sonic problem, where if a game was just playing as Sonic from beginning to end, like every game would be over in like about 20 minutes, like half an hour. That's why Sonic Unleashed sticks so much crap in there. Whereas
Yeah.
I think the Sonic Frontiers approach was basically give you this open world, and then in the open world there'll just be kind of mini Sonic platforming sections, and I thought that was kind of the perfect way to do it, rather than just ham fist a bunch of random crap in there. But
Yeah, I do think it's actually a good idea. I agree with you on that. It's kind of just, and to be fair, I probably need to play it more, get better, and probably wouldn't die so much in those sections. So I can't totally blame the game, but I don't know. It just there's too much. It was a bit like anything open world. I tend to have that same frustration. So it was kind of
yeah.
fun to hiding for nothing. But I do get the idea, and I do think, yeah, you've got to adapt the formula, and that is quite a good way. Maybe I'd click with it if I played it more. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the other thing of it is it's because of the budget and the time scale. Apparently, they had to restart it like halfway
Mm.
through. I think some of
No,
it's like
really.
half formed.
Mm.
Hopefully, if you played Shadow Generations, that's what they
I've
did
not
with that in
seen,
a short
but I
time.
heard that. Yeah, yeah, same.
Yeah, so hopefully the next one really delivers on the potential.
Mm.
Last game that didn't make the list, and I'm sure this is going to send a lot of Sonic fans like into overdrive, fits of rage, hurl your abuse at us all. But Sonic 3 and Knuckles did not get a mention. Neither Sonic 3 nor Sonic and Knuckles, nor the combination of the two. Um, I don't know that this one I like a lot, but it's always been kind of second fiddle for me.
Mm.
I don't know. Dibs, what about you? Where does it fit
Yeah.
for you?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was like, I mean, one of the things that happens with me is like by the time we get to the third game of a franchise, I get a little bit bored by then. And so,
I literally
and
just heard you say this on the Road Rash
oh
pod, by the
yeah,
way.
yeah, no, it's true. But like, I don't know if you remember, but like, it was around the time. No, it was when Sonic and Knuckles came out. I remember there was like a whole slew of like really incredible games that came out that was like much rated high, much higher rated, excuse me, in like the EMAP magazines, like Mean Machine Sega and stuff. Like around that kind of era, and I was more looking to those kind of games. But like Bedgell had picked up Sonic 3, and it was you who got Sonic and Knuckles as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had the Tower of
Yeah,
Power
so
minus the Mega CD. Yeah.
yeah. So we were like playing it and that, but it just was not quite clicking with me in the way that the first two Sonics did. Like I felt like, like I was saying earlier, like I was quite interested in kind of time trialing particular courses and things like that. And these levels are much longer and sprawling, and they kind of was outside of my interest a little bit. I mean, it was still like a really good game, and I like played through it, but I definitely got that feeling after Sonic 3, like, that kind of felt like half a game. And then kind of like when they announced Sonic and Knuckles, I sort of realized, oh, it was half a game. Here's the other part of it over here. You have to stick it together and you finally get the whole shebang. So it kind of like, yeah, it was like the fog sort of lifted with regards to that. But it was never like I didn't pick it up myself for quite a few years because my interest was getting taken by the other games that were reviewing a lot better around at the time. Because by that point, like a lot of developers had really gotten a handle on the Mega Drive as well, and they were just getting stuff out of it that kind of for me had moved on beyond Sonic a little bit at that point.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, I got it and I loved it. I
Mm,
think, and at the time I loved it, and I actually loved the kind of the storytelling in it as well. But it is a very different game to the first two. I think it's like I think if you kind of plot the course of Sonic, there's like Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 goes in one direction, Sonic CD goes in another direction, and Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 3 kind of goes in that CD direction where it's a lot more exploratory, a lot more kind of vast and open. Um,
mm,
and I found it's like Sonic 2 has a lot of criticism, but that people say that it's too easy. And I remember that infamous Games Master review where they gave it
mm.
65%, which is
Oh
ridiculous.
man,
They said it was
yeah.
too easy. But I think Sonic 3 is even easier. But it's
Mm,
just you can spend ages exploring in it. You've got those giant levels. You've got like if you've got the Sonic of 3 and Knuckles, you've got like three different bonus stages. And like
mm,
I remember ending up like the first week I'd played it, and I ended up like on Sky Sanctuary with something like about 50 lives, where I'd been doing the bonus stages and getting like different getting all the bonuses and stuff. I was like, this is too easy. I'm not excited by this.
mm,
It's a fantastic game. That's probably it
mm.
sounds a little bit harsh, but I don't know, Martin. I think you were given the counter arguments for Sonic 3's favor, weren't you, when we were discussing this on Twitter? What are your thoughts on
Yeah, so I wasn't aware of the whole half game thing. I just again I rocked up at my cousins and they had Sonic 3 and I thought, oh sweet, a new Sonic game. And
it?
I agree, yeah, it did feel a bit easier, but I suppose a lot of that is the fact that by then I'd played most of the like Master System Game Gear ones. I played the two on the Mega Drive. I'd played Sonic CD, so to me the ease for it just felt like I was much better at Sonic by that point. But I don't know about you, Dibs and Bedgell, but to me it felt like a bit of a sort of phenomenon because by that point I was reading Sonic the comic and we had or the Sonic the Comic specials. So we had like this big bumper issue with Knuckles being introduced. Then we had the Sonic the Comic issues where he was actually introduced, and it just went absolutely wild from there. So to me, yes, the game probably was a little bit short, but I felt they were trying to do an awful lot more graphically, like with their little trickery and stuff like that, and with the whole phenomenon around it with Sonic the Comic and everything else. And I just felt as a game, it was really, really good fun. So I never had a problem with Sonic 3. In fact, I kind of thought it, in a way, it was better than Sonic 2, but then obviously lengthwise, it was quite short. But people also forget a lot of the time, it's got a competition mode. And unlike Sonic 2's, which has just 3 of the levels in 2-player mode plus special stage, this had 5 brand new stages with different music that you could play as Sonic Tails and Knuckles for the first time with just Sonic 3 on its own. So even when you don't include Sonic and Knuckles into the mix, you're actually getting more game than you think with Sonic 3, because you've got that different 2-player mode to play with, which if you've got siblings and friends and stuff around, you're going to get a lot of mileage out of that. I mean, I used to play the time trial on the competition mode all the time, to the point where I was like ridiculously good at it. And then obviously Sonic and Knuckles dropped, and I actually got Sonic and Knuckles myself. So I had to keep borrowing Sonic 3 from my cousin to lock them on. But I remember I managed to complete Sonic and Knuckles to the point where I was at the end. I had to pause it to go and eat Sunday lunch and then go back upstairs to play it. And I thought my mum was going to kill me. I don't know why, because all I'd done is pause the game, and ended up finishing it and watched the ending. And I'm just sat there like, yeah, like a little kid in a candy shop. And then obviously got Sonic 3 locked onto it and managed to play through that. And me and my mates that lived over the road could not figure out how to do that 4th Sonic and Knuckles special stage where you've got to do the squares before jumping over onto a yellow sphere, which bounces you over to the next square. And it must have been like a lazy Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon or something. I somehow just managed it. And I then got to see, I've already seen Doomsday Zone, but then I got to see Hypersonic, and I was like, oh my God, what is this? And then got the extra ending, which had him all colourful and the floating island going back up. And to me, it just felt like this amazing, crazy story that just kept getting layered and layered on the more you played the game. And then discovering stuff like Super Tails as well, with his little flickies flying around his head. So yeah, no, I will always maintain it's every bit as good as Sonic 2, if not sometimes better, depending on your outlook.
Yeah. I mean, that probably sounded really harsh. I absolutely love the game. You know, as I say, especially the storytelling on it is brilliant. And it's a very different game to kind of Sonic 2. But yeah, it's just that's the only thing. I think sometimes it's a little bit too big for its own good. It's not kind of breezy like the first Sonic game.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever get stuck on that Carnival Night barrel thing?
Yes.
that was a nightmare.
Do you know what my solution for that was? I had a turbo pad at the time.
Oh yeah.
And the only way I could get through it, and this is before I'd read the solution in the magazines, I figured it out. I had to read a magazine to figure out find a solution. But my solution, my homegrown, was but make sure you get a bubble shield at the gumball machine.
Yeah.
Get to the barrel, hold it down, and you would literally bounce on that machine so fast, on that ball so fast, you'd eventually glitch through the bottom. And that was how for about 5 months I had to beat that game.
Oh, really?
Do you want to know what my solution was?
Go.
Win the Sonic 3 guide in a competition in Sonic the Comic that you didn't even know you'd entered, and find out how to do it.
That's good. Yeah. It's funny
You
though.
still got it?
I have, but it's in, shall we say, a various state of undress. It's ripped to shit.
All right.
Unfortunately.
I relived it though, because obviously I did that Sonic 3, Sonic 2 video a few months ago, and it's been ages since I played Sonic 3, and I got to that bit, got stuck in the exact same. It was almost like I had the muscle memory of the pain, just not the muscle memory of how to do it. I was doing exactly what you've described. I was doing exactly that for you're talking 20, 30 minutes, and that is a long time when you're just trying to record footage for a video stuck on one bit. And then eventually did it, like fluked it, whatever, put the video to it, and then read an internet guide. And I was like, oh, you do that. And it's like, and it's so simple when you know how. And it's like,
man, I'm surprised that didn't haunt you for when we were kids. And I remember sitting in your room trying to figure that out.
And that's the thing.
It's
exactly
like
that. I could remember the pain of it. I literally came flooding back. But I'm like, but I honestly don't remember how to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
I do
man.
think it comes down to what you want with that game, doesn't it? If you want big and you want exploration and you want variety, it is better for that. I
Yeah.
just found I got lost, I got confused. I was just kind of, I don't never found Sonic 2 led me by the hand. It just kind of
Mm.
made it so easy to have a good time. Whereas Sonic 3, you really had to work for it. And I just thought, it's really good. I do really love it. It's not quite what I wanted, which doesn't mean it's a bad game. It's just I was looking for more Sonic 2, to be honest. It's interesting. Obviously we've been playing a bit of Pro Protector in that issue of Me Machines that I've referred to where they review it. They review the Sonic and Knuckles, obviously the second view, and they say all this. You think back at the time how we were like cock a hoop for it. Sonic 3, I think, still landed massive, but yeah, Sonic and Knuckles, they're 85%, and they base, they're saying it's just kind of a bit tired, new ideas. They reviewed Dynamite Heady in the same issue, and they're
I
like,
think that's the issue I was thinking of.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's actually the Mega Drive lineup in that issue. My God, it's good. I mean, that's
yeah.
late Mega Drive as well. So, but yeah, they're saying, you look at the ideas that were coming out of someone like Dynamite Head, and you think, yeah, it is. It was just a bit tired at the time. Now it feels classic, but it was a little bit. We definitely felt that. We were like, I wanted more Sonic 2, and this I could recognize this was a great game. It was a bit like, I don't know. It's sort of now I've gone back to it. I probably like it more, to be honest. But yeah, it did feel just like it was just sort of running out of steam, and they were just trying too hard to remix what they had, and they remixed it away from what I thought was good. But you know,
Yeah.
still
I
good.
mean, a lot of people love it and say it's the best ever. And I think that's, and again, it comes down to what you were just saying just now, what you were looking for. But yeah, 1994, to be a Sega fan, you've got, in that issue, Dynamite Heady, you've got Pro Protector, you've
Yeah,
got all sorts of other stuff. Didn't Castlevania come out in 94?
And was
yeah.
there
Um,
like Earthworm Jim and stuff like that as
Earthworm
well?
Jim
I
was
think.
94,
I think
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. There
Then
was
you
like
got the
just so
He's
Easter
such a
many.
X
groovy
coming
guy.
out, and you got you
yeah.
got the
This what
Sega Saturn.
I'm just looking now. Actually, Sparks the Two, Mega Bomberman's in
Oh,
there as
Rocket
well.
Knight Adventures 2,
I
what a
mean,
game.
Sparks the Two. I want to talk about
Yeah.
Sparkster, but it's like, and I guess up against them, it still was great. But actually, those other games were doing new stuff too. So yeah,
Yeah.
strong times.
Mm.
It was. So obviously that's the nearlies that we've talked about here. Now we're getting to the real meat of it. And this is the greatest Sonic game ever made, according to us. So
Sega
what we'll do
Sonic the
is
Hedgehog.
what we'll do is we'll go around and everyone make their case for the best Sonic game out of their nominations, which we've already pre-discussed, pre-arranged, predetermined. Um, and we'll do it in release order. So, Mr. Dibbs Ahoy, we're going to come to you first because
Hello.
yours is the very first Sonic game to release out of all of our nominations.
It
So,
is.
make your case for your Sonic game.
Okay, well, so the Sonic game I'm going for is the original Sonic the Hedgehog, but the Master System version. So we're going 8-bit. The ancient developed, so Yuzo Koshiro's all involved and everything, as well as his sister Ayano Koshiro. She was the director, I think. So it's like a family affair, and it was yeah. So basically, one of the things that I really enjoyed about it was the fact that it wasn't just like a Mega Drive demake, It's like there were so many like Mega Drive games that came to the Master System, and it was always like a lesser version. But like with the original Sonic, there it was like a different team developing it. It wasn't Sonic team with Yuji Naka and that. So they kind of literally built it from the ground up for the machine. So, but they did have like certain familiar levels in it, like Green Hill Zones in it, Labyrinth and Scrap Brain. But then they put like a whole bunch of other like original levels in it, and it was really kind of making the most of the Master System, really. And I think that was a really cool thing to kind of stand it in good stead because it was distinct from the Mega Drive version, and I think that was an important thing to do. And yeah, I think for me, it's one of the purest Sonic games. Like you said that earlier, a lot of people find the original ones kind of quite pure, and that's kind of how my mind kind of works actually when I think of the Master System version, because it's like it kind of captures what Sonic is supposed to be at its core, you know? It's like speed plus the platforming challenge. It's not just like, you know, I mean, like the first act of Green Hill, it teaches you hold right, or like, you know, even with that ramp, you can zoom off the end and then do that weird. I never knew it was like a glitch or whatever it was, but you kind of fly to the end of the level. It's like I was always like, is that a feature? Is that supposed to be in there? But it was very cool, whatever it was. But then, like when you get to the second act, it's kind of teaching you a bit of platforming, a bit of exploration with like lives hidden in walls, and then like you have Chaos Emeralds actually hidden within the stages, so it rewards exploration, which is you know, I found that very satisfying. And I quite like the fact that it hasn't got all the usual bells and whistles of Sonic games, like millions of characters now and all that sort of stuff. It's just like it's literally Sonic versus Robotnik, and you're just going through a bunch of really fun, cool levels full of ideas, lots of variety. And yeah, and actually the difficulty curve as well, I thought was pretty good in the game. It's like you know, like I say, it kind of teaches you the basics in the first few levels. Then when you get to Robotnik, it's like, okay, here's your nemesis. Like you get introduced to him for your first ever boss fight. And yeah, I just thought it's just I'm going to use a Knight Rider analogy. Like whereas it's bigger, it's better than the sum of its parts, you know, because it's like it's like on the Master System, and I kind of felt, you know, 8-bit sometimes you're a bit up against it because it's like it's getting so far in the past that it's like, you know, people aren't even growing up with that anymore. It's like when people are playing like PlayStation 1 or something, it's their first console. It's like hard to kind of, you know, get people to understand, but it was so huge at the time. It was there was this Sonic fever going on, like with the release of this character, and this was the embodiment of it on the 8-bit machine. And for a lot of us who only had the 8-bit machines, it was, you know, it was a magical time. It was like one of my great memories, like back at the time, like was literally sitting in a youth club with my friend on his Game Gear playing Sonic 1 while like Rhythm is a Dancer and like Ebenezer Good are playing on the stereo. And it was just like this could not be more early 90s, you know. It just perfectly encapsulated like everything that was going on, like Sonic as a character, like I was saying about earlier. And yeah, it's just, you know, it's just there was something magical about it. It just they just did a fantastic job. The level designs, you know, very distinct and different as well from the Mega Drive version, like the Jungle Zone Act 2 where you're ascending up the waterfall and things like that. Like I love that. It's like and also it's got like the really fun glitch where you can leave the camera behind if you know the level well enough that you could like be off the top of the
You could
screen
beat
and the
the out
camera's
auto
like
scroll.
yeah, it's trying to catch up with you and stuff. But it's like there's just so many things to this game that just makes me absolutely love it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, wow. And actually saying that, that's not pretty much it, because how could I not say the music for a start? Yuzo Koshiro soundtrack, absolutely fantastic. So, and you know, and apparently the guy who wrote that Janet Jackson song particularly liked the Bridge Zone music as well. Although I'm sure they deny it, but you know, that's kind of a little bit too close for comfort, I'd say. But yeah, so it's just like as a package, it's just a fantastic game, just so fun. Just going back to it now, I just absolutely love it still. And yeah, that's my pitch. It's also got really fun glitches in it as well. Actually, I love playing with the glitches, like passing through scenery and like, you know, in Scrap Brain Zone, there's one bit where you can like literally roll through a closed door if you get up enough speed and things like that. It's just like it's just the fun is just oozing through every kind of like part of it. It just I just love it. So
Mm.
there we go.
That's a great pitch. And Bedgell, this was high up there. And I know obviously I've got the video where I say, look, don't call it Sonic 8-bit. They're two different games with like that are
Mm.
50% different. But I think for the purpose of this, we can kind of lump them together because there's enough similarities there. And Bedgell, this was not in the Master System form, but in the portable form. This was one of yours as well, wasn't it? You were very keen on this.
I mean, I'm happy keeping them together. I will obviously point out the Game Gear version is better than the playing on the Master System. We all know that. It's like
now we're going to descend into an argument, right?
No,
a tangent of views.
I think, man, I agree with everything that you just said, and obviously, like we played a lot of this together. Like we did do our very own 30 years prior to doing any of this on YouTube, Master System and Game Gear side by side time trial.
We did, yeah.
Like what was the one, turning the TV upside down on the Master System? Just
we played it through so many times because it hasn't got like a difficulty level in it. So we thought like one time it would be a good idea to turn the TV physically upside down and try and play it that way. It's like. We lasted about the length of Green Hill Zone, and then it's like, nah, this is stupid. So we corrected it. But
I can explain my love for it in like with 3 games, because I Fantasyland Dizzy on the Amstrad CPC 464, and then about a year later I'd Mario Land on the Game Boy, and that was a leap, and I adore that game as well. But then within the next year I had Sonic on the Game Gear, and I think when you've gone accelerated that fast, you just can't imagine how good Sonic felt. And so we'll pull it out. Sorry for listeners. What we've got here is the Japanese Dinky Sonic, which I finally reclaimed. So I'll tell you the story now, because this has entrenched my love for the game even more. A little bit of something you can't have. I imported this, like not this particular one, but that exact Japanese version, age, what would I have been, 11? And I don't know how or why I did it. It would have been one of the like classifieds at the back of me machines, and just sort of somehow persuaded my dad this was a good idea. I don't know why he didn't just go down WH Smith's and buy the Power One at the time, but never mind. And like obviously sad the anticipation of it arriving, and when it came, my God, I was so excited. I was the only one at school that had this, and it was like, oh, I was like such a celebrity of having it. Like everything was so like amazing and different compared to those games. It just felt so exciting. And then one day, bus home, like there's 30 of us kids on, and I'm sitting, I can still remember, I can take myself back. I'm sitting next to this kid, Jeffrey Lawrence, and we're chatting about this Sonic. And he's innocent as pie. But I get off the bus and my Sonic is gone. And there's only one way, only one place it could have gone, and that's into Jeffrey Lawrence's pocket. So I get home that night. I don't tell the parents what's happened because I'm sort of mix of embarrassed and angry. But I get out the phone book and I go through the Lawrences in the phone book one by one, ringing every Lawrence that I could find, trying to find Jeffrey and tell him, I know what you've done, son. I know what you've done. Next day, there's an extraordinary meeting at school. Everyone on that bus is called into room, and he stands firm. You got to admire his chutzpah. He never admitted that he's stolen it, but all this time later, I'm still coming for him. Let's just be clear about that. He's not. But
it's like a delayed taken, isn't it? I will find you in 35 years, and
I have no skills. But you got to think, I had it for about 6 weeks, a month or 6 weeks.
Oh, no.
And the pain of like losing it so quickly, that's only propelled my love for it. It became almost like mythical, like how brilliant it was. And I got it again. My dad took pity on me and got me the PAL version, and obviously I still love it, but it was just, I don't know, all of that together just entrenched the game. And I won't try and convince you, but I will say this: I love it on the tiny screen, because on the Master System one, I do find I've got too much scenery, I've got too much space. I don't feel like the speed is as good. And I just think on the Game Gear, it just accentuates like the simple speed design just feels great on that tiny screen. And I know this is the other really controversial thing, but I really love that Game Gear sprite. I just think he looks so cool. So yeah, I won't fight too much. We all know you're wrong, so I'll just leave it at that. But I'm totally with you, man. Game like 8-bit Sonic, Game Gear or Master System is just a beautiful, beautiful game. And by the way, Ancient had absolutely no right to be delivering a game that was even decent when it's literally their first game on the systems. Like, where did that all come from? How did they know what the hell they were doing? It's like. So yeah, I just think it's amazing, and of course it propels them into more stuff. You know, User cut his teeth. He gets the gig. He's done the soundtrack previously. He gets the gig. Someone apparently just tapped on the shoulder in a corridor and said, "How about like you guys do this version of this game or something like that?" He told the story to some guy for his book, and I just think, yeah, what if? What if that hadn't happened as well? Would he have got the next gig or the next one? Would Streets of Rage happen? Obviously, no doubt he was listening to the Shaman at the same time as you were, Dibs, because he then went and ripped them off in Streets of
Move
Rage.
any mountain.
Yeah.
Move any
Well,
mountain.
they've got to move any mountain to get that gig.
Yeah. So all part of it. But man, I love it so much. I think if you hadn't gone for it, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I did kind of plead you to let me have it.
But it's way, way up there. It's such a brilliant game. And I think, what I often think is, I say it's about a lot of games that I was lot play, but my kids really play a lot of Roblox and a lot of really simple games. Like they're not into like high-end PC games like grown-up adult gamers are into. The stuff they're playing at the equivalent age seems to be Roblox and really basic games. And I always think, man, what you're doing, all these like obbies, these obstacle courses they play, I'm like, you're basically just looking for a really good platformer. Can I recommend 8-Bit Sonic? So yeah, I don't know. It's fantastic. I'm just going to stop ranting because it's just so good.
I just learned something. I've heard my kids talk about obbies this week. I didn't know what on earth they were talking about. Obstacle course, got ya.
Yeah.
Oh god.
What we need to do is dress Bedgell up in like a really nice cocktail dress and just be like, maybe you should try one of these. or
Jesse,
the
up in a cocktail dress
like with the tune
again.
Maybe Lord Vader.
Yeah. I'm going to jump in and then we'll come to you in a sec, Martin, but I'm going to have to keep the Sonic 8-bit loving going because obviously we're going to get to my number one pick, and I think there was a few picks that overlapped, and I was going to say if I didn't have my number one and someone else had it, that would be my number two. For me, it probably is the second greatest Sonic game ever made, and I think part of that is it's small but perfectly formed, and it doesn't have the loops, it doesn't have the size and the scale of the first game, but I think almost it makes it a better platformer for it because you've got the sense of speed, you've got the rush of adrenaline, you've got things like the ramps and everything, but the speed actually translates to what's really is a really tight platform game, and you've got that excitement in playing it, and then you've got like you don't have the spring yard zone, but you've got like the special stage, which I'm not being funny, like I know you don't collect emeralds in the special stages in that game, but the Sonic 8-bit special stages are much better than the Mega Drive ones, I think.
Yeah.
Like I know it's
Much more
impressive seeing the
fun.
maze spin around, but just doing a pinball going
Exactly.
screaming
That was the
around.
first time Sonic was ever like used like a pinball kind of style, wasn't he? So that was pretty
It's even
cool.
got the
I thought.
flippers, yeah.
Yeah.
So like my background was I had a Commodore 64, and that was my computer, and my little brother was like he wanted to play on it, and sometimes I'll play like Gauntlet 2 with him, and sometimes I'll be like, no, you can't have a go, this is mine. So he wanted his own computer for his birthday. £50 in the Argos catalog. My mum got it for him, and I was like, "Yeah, to get him that. That was like half the price of the C64." It's like what he's got isn't as good as what I've got. But then, like, I saw it, and I was like, saw a Space Harrier. I was like, my jaw was like dropped on the floor, the size of these sprites on the screen. Mickey Mouse Castle Illusion, and then Sonic came up, and like I knew nothing about Sonic. Obviously, he'd already been like a phenomenon on the Mega Drive, and I saw it on the Master System, and that just changed my outlook on games forever. Just running down that ramp, getting the speed boots, rolling down it, and disappearing off screen, going so fast that you end up at the end of the level. You go even beyond the finish post. So I was like, this is otherworldly, and that stuck with me. And maybe it is biased, but that nostalgia because it was my very first Sonic game, my introduction to him, and basically what. I'd had experience with Outrun on the Commodore 64. I'd been blown away by Afterburner in the arcade, but that was that moment that I became a Sega fan, was playing Sonic 8-bit. And it's perfect pretty much. I can't really think of a fault with it. The music is absolutely amazing. Yuzo Koshiro, he was on a roll. Revenge of Shinobi, Streets of Rage, Sonic 8-bit, all in the space of about 12 months.
Yeah. Amazing.
Absolutely
Incredible.
outstanding. And then his sister obviously producing the game, no right to basically match or even in our opinion beat Sonic Team at their own game, basically producing it, and obviously goes on to make banger after banger like Streets of Rage 2, I think was the next one Ancient did. And then I think I was talking earlier about I think that Sonic the Hedgehog, the original, has the best music out of the Mega Drive games. I actually prefer the 8-bit music. I actually prefer Scrap Brain 8-bit to Scrap Brain 16-bit, for example. I prefer
Mm.
the Labyrinth. Labyrinth's a hard one because I do like that the Mega Drive one basically takes the beat out of oh, you got the best of my love, because you can hear the, I don't know if you've ever noticed, it's got a dun 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 dun
Oh.
dun dun dun. So I'm playing it sometimes and I'm like, whoa,
That's
but
cool. I'm gonna
so
listen for that. Yeah.
yeah, so that's quite tight. But I think overall, and then you put the bridge zone, the jungle zone is such a fantastic zone, and I
Yeah.
love the fact that you go from like you're on South Island, and it's like oh, like happy Green Hill bridge zone. Jungle, and it's like you go up and it zooms in on the map and it's like smog, smoke,
Mm.
labyrinth zone, scrap brain, skybase. So for me, it's perfectly formed. It's such an amazing game. I think one of my favorite games of all time. And talking about the Commodore 64 version, have any of you played the Commodore 64 port?
No, seen it, but never played it.
Yeah, I watched the video, but I haven't played it. If I want to though, and
It's
if I get
amazing.
my C64 back, I'm going to give that a crack for sure.
Yeah, you get yourself a, Kung Fu Flash 2, and that's the only reason I bought that flash card was to play that game. It was worth it. But yeah, one of my favorite games of all time. What more can be said? But Martin, we'll come to you last on the 8-bit Sonic game. What are your thoughts on it, mate?
I think so. 8-bit Sonic on the Master System was the second Sega game I'd ever played. I preceded it with Transbot.
Don't knock transport.
No, it's a good game to be fair.
Yeah, good score attack game. Yeah,
Closest
Um,
we got to a Transformers game in that era.
that's true.
hey, I had the two Transformers games on the Commodore 64, so don't knock it.
All right, yeah.
And I think it was the fourth Master System game overall I played. So I went from Psycho Fox, which could be fast, and Donald Duck's Lucky Dime Caper, which was quite a slow game. And then Sonic came along and it was just blisteringly fast. And I'm like, holy crap, what is this? And I was utterly dreadful at it. I could beat like Green Hill no problem because Robotnik wasn't exactly much of a challenge on the first zone. To be honest with you, I didn't even know he had an attack. To be honest with you, and then it all goes to pieces from Bridge Zone when I was I think I must have been 6. I think when I played it because it came out 91, didn't it?
Hmm.
And I think I played it 91 or very early 92 or whatever. But I absolutely loved it. I'd never seen anything that fast. I thought the character was great. That like the tunes, as you said, were really, really catchy. And I got to see my cousins play it because it was their version I was playing. So I got to see some of the later stuff like Labyrinth Zone and Scrap Brain. And I agree with you, Dan. I think the Scrap Brain in the 8-bit version is probably better than the 16-bit version. And I think was it a few years ago someone actually discovered that there was an 8-bit version of Marble Zone actually in the data
Ooh,
Yes.
files. And
And someone
that's
yeah.
just released a hack of it,
incredible.
by the way. You
At
can
least
download
what?
them. They've just released. Someone's just produced a hack of it. So
Oh, nice.
basically, you can play it now. Obviously, it was inevitable when someone finds that sort of
Uh,
thing. But yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But it sounds like incredible. Like you compare it to the 16-bit version, and there's very little difference. Obviously both of them use the same Yamaha, don't they? So there's a lot of similarities in them. But yeah, I did get to experience playing stuff like the Jungle Zone myself, and I couldn't really progress beyond that because the boss kind of did me in on that one. I just wasn't fast enough to sort of get past it because I didn't own the game myself. I couldn't practice it very often, so I didn't get good enough at it, and I didn't get to play
Hmm.
it again for an incredibly long time, like decades, until I got the Game Gear version on the 3DS store. And I got to play the Game Gear version properly because I'd not actually played the Game Gear version before that. I played the Sonic 2 Chaos and Triple Trouble on the Game Gear, but Sonic 1 for me was always the Master System and the Mega Drive versions. Um, and that was the first time I actually managed to complete it myself. And I got to see the very final bits of the game because I'd never seen Skybase before that point. And I thought as a zone, it was absolutely brilliant. Like the visuals were really good. And as Dan said on the map screen, where you go to the top half of the island and it just looks completely different from the southern part of South Island. So I think whether you like the 16-bit version or the 8-bit version more, both are absolutely phenomenal games, and you can't not play both of them really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much
That is
Sonic
what
for
was
me.
that was really cool, like at the time, like getting basically two Sonic games. Like, I love that. And like, when Sonic 2 came out, you had the 8-bit version of that too. And I just thought this is so cool being a Sega fan. Like you get two games like for these events. It's awesome.
Free, free. Game Gear version is so different.
Oh
Like
yeah,
like the
yeah,
layouts,
yeah. I know, yeah. I do. I have watched your video.
Well, we also
So
got
No, I
I've
do
Sonic
got
2
agree.
PAL before everywhere else, didn't we? In PAL land, we got it before anybody else in the world on Master System. So
Yep.
we got Tails on screen before the Americans and the Japanese did.
Ah, there
Yes,
you
we did.
So
go.
Good stuff. So yeah, everyone a big fan of Sonic 2, Sonic 1 on the Master System on Game Gear on here then. So it's a strong start, Dibs. Great
Mm,
pitch, mate.
love it.
Um
let's just
I've
throw
got
away everything and just go. We're
yeah,
done.
that's it. Pod's done. Let's go. uh so obviously I've got to follow that up. And Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on the Mega Drive is not just my favorite Sonic game, it is my favorite video game of all time. I talked about the Sonic problem earlier in that, if you just play Sonic in straight with no additives, you can just pop blitz through a game and it doesn't last very long. Sonic 2 just says, yeah, that's what I'm about. Deal with it. And I find that is just pure Sonic embodied. It's similar to the 8-bit game, I think, in that you've got the speed, but it works so well within the platforming. But it's definitely the faster out of all those very early games. You've got, and especially like the corkscrews, the loops in Emerald Hill, but nothing really outstays its welcome. And I did like the move to having two acts. Obviously,
Mm,
that two act structure has like persisted for decades now for the 2D games, but it just felt so you were constantly getting these new biomes, new levels, and everything just felt so much more fluid. Is the you talk when you see these people in Sonic circles talk about level design, they talk about flow. You get Sonic gets into a flow state. That's apparently what all the kids say these days, and I think that's I think that Sonic 2 actually kind of embodies that an awful lot, and I think it does it more than Sonic 1, and it does it more than Sonic 3
Mm.
and Knuckles, because, as we said earlier, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is a lot more exploratory. Sonic 2 is just, that was the game where it was such a cultural phenomenon. You had Sonic
mm.
Tuesday. That was the one that was saying, let's stick Mario Kart on a ice cream truck and stick Sonic 2 on the back of a drag racer. Talk about blast processing. And you really feel that because you start off on Emerald Hill, as I say, corkscrews, loop the loops. You go into the chemical plant and you've got like, you're trying to get out of the Mega Mac, the purple liquid, but then you've also got like the chutes that spring you around and you can find different paths if you hold it in certain directions. And then you get into like the aquatic ruin zone, which is, the only water zone on there, but it's still, you're dodging arrows and stuff, and it just persists all the way through. And then you get Casino Night, which is absolutely iconic, and I could go on and on through all of them.
Mm,
But I don't think that it's a game that I could point a single flaw at. Everything on it just works so well. And to me, it's Sonic perfected. I think the reason why I feel like Sonic went into a different direction is because it's like, can we take Sonic 2 in any other direction now? We've absolutely nailed this design. Let's try something a little different.
mm,
Visually, it's so bold, it's so striking. Love the the level designs and everything. And then the audio in it is, as I say, I think Sonic 1 has the best audio, but it's only slightly ahead of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for me. Emerald Hill is iconic, Chemical Plant is iconic, Mystic Cave is an
mm.
absolutely fantastic tune. And as you get to the end, you've got kind of that almost orchestral sounding Winged Fortress that was so epic, and then it's just, not only does it play so well and does everything like the spin dash feeds into it so brilliantly, but you've just got such brilliant iconography, like the battle with the Metal Sonic or Silver Sonic, however you want to call it. It's not the Metal Sonic, but
Mm.
a version, a metal version of Sonic, a clunkier one than we'd see in a later game. But you've got that showdown, then you've got the giant Dr. Robotnik egg, egg suit or whatever you want to call it at the end. Tails in the biplane. It just is. for me, it's the most iconic Sonic the Hedgehog game. It does everything right, and I think everything that I just said about the 8-bit game, it just I've always thought the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 feels like the more natural progression on that, because whereas Sonic 8-bit, you go, as I said, you go from your light part of the island to the dark part. You kind of get that similar progression with Sonic 2, and I feel like they both complement each other really well.
Mm.
There's less exploration in kind of 8-bit Sonic compared to the 16-bit version, and Sonic 2 you could explore, and there's loads of different paths, but it doesn't slow you down taking those alternate paths a lot of the time. So yeah, for me, it's absolutely perfect. And obviously, I know Going for Ages chaps, you enjoyed it, and we'll come to you in a sec. But Martin, your thoughts on Sonic the Hedgehog 2?
So I played Sonic 2 quite quickly after Sonic 1 on the Mega Drive, because again, I was playing someone else's version, but it ended up being the very first Sonic game that I owned myself, because I got it as a pack-in with my Mega Drive 2 in 1993, along with Jurassic Park, which I will hear no slander against. It is a great game. um, but yeah, to me, it did feel bigger and better. And as you said, I did like the two-act structure because there was more stages as a result of that. It felt like there was a lot more variety on offer. Like you go from your green hill zone to your chemical plant and your aquatic ruin, and then you've got casino night, and then all of a sudden you're on hilltop zone with this weird jazz and you're like, okay. And then you get to best level music, Mystic Cave Zone, because that is absolutely amazing. And again, the sort of palette goes from this bright hilltop zone where, yes, it's dark in the caves, but outside it's quite bright. And then you've just got this really dark mystic cave leading on to the oil ocean zone, which is also another dark level, and then Metropolis zone. So you just go through this run of everything starting to look a lot more evil as we go.
Yeah.
And then it sort of lightens up again for the final two stages before Death Egg. And then, I don't know, for me, it felt like Death Egg should have been an actual stage more than anything, because the music is actually quite lengthy for the 3 seconds you listen to it before Mechasonic Mark 1 drops down. And annoyingly, I'd watched quite a bit of Games World, so I already knew the trick for how to beat Mechasonic Mark 1 quite quickly with the old spin dash and then all that. So he was never much of a problem for me. And but yeah, I just thought like it was bigger and better. And of course, you mentioned earlier about the special stages in 8-bit Sonic 1, which were like these sort of pinball things, which were much better than the spinny sort of ones from Sonic 1 on the Mega Drive. But then you're in Sonic 2 and all of a sudden you get and you're going down this tube full of color, and it just felt like nothing else you'd ever seen in your life at that point. Like the sense of speed, the irritation at Tails losing all the rings, and all that. But of course, you also got to play as Tails as well. So it was the first time you actually got to play as a different character in a Sonic game. And because by that point, like Dib said earlier, it wasn't over bloated by that stage in Sonic's life. You only had these two characters. It felt really, really cool. And of course, Tails was pretty much a carbon copy of Sonic at that point, apart from the fact he could jump like a couple of millimeters higher. So he had a slight edge on beating Death Egg, the Death Egg robot, because he could jump a bit higher, which is something that Knuckles couldn't do. But yeah, it just that there's not much that can be said that hasn't already been said already by yourself, Dan. Sonic 2 was just an absolute revelation at the time, and I honestly didn't think there was a better video game until a bit later.
I still don't. But yeah, I can't believe I actually neglected to talk about the special stages. They are still to this day my favorite special stages. I can actually beat them with Tails in tow. It's almost like you were saying on your Road Rash discussion, Dibs. It's almost like you have to accommodate for input lag when you're trying to tow Tails behind you. You kind of have to move before the bombs move on screen.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
yeah. Yeah,
It doesn't feel
but,
right not having Tails along. It just doesn't feel right being Sonic on his
yeah,
own.
it's easier if you boot Sonic alone, but yeah, it doesn't feel right, does it? So yeah, Tails is a great addition. The special stages are my favorite, and the competition mode. I know we were saying earlier that it's just 3 stages, but I still think it's a brilliant competition mode, purely probably because of the special stage. We used to do me, my mum, my brother, and my sister all used to play it all together all the time, and it did ensue to a couple of fights. between me and my brother a few times because he was a bad loser. Um, but it would always be, let's get through the few zones. But the big face off would be the special stage. And I always wanted to go on, is it Games World? Well, they
Yeah.
used to have, yeah, and they used to play that
Sky
quite a
One.
lot. And I used to think Big Boy Barry was the best at that, and I thought I could beat Big Boy Barry at this game.
Yeah, I didn't watch Games Master as a kid because I didn't really watch much Channel 4 or whatever it was on. So, but because I had satellite, Games World worked, so I watched that every day without fail. So, but one thing I did neglect to mention before we do move on is, of course, Sonic 2 was probably one of the first video games where a lot of us realized about stuff that had been removed from games. Because in the sound test, of course, you've got the Hidden Palace Zone music. And I used to play that all the time, just wondering what the heck it was. But then I got the Tony Takashi Sonic 2 guidebook, which actually had pictures of the Hidden Palace and the Wood Zone inside it. So I sort of learned what it was and put two and two together and went, oh, that's what that music's from. And of course, it also mentioned a lot about Sonic CD's development because technically it started before Sonic 2.
Yeah.
So it was a great little book that I've actually still got it somewhere, but I'm not sure it's still got the pictures in, unfortunately.
So obviously, Dibbs, Bedgell, you both did an episode on Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Which one of you wants to jump in first?
Well, I'd say we could go a bit nuts about this as well. I feel like these two games we started with just turned us into a rabid, like frothing mess. I think flow is, it's where I start. We'd never said it back in the day, but that is so true. I don't think any game gets that flow better, and especially like in the earlier levels on Sonic 2, you don't have to be that great to get it to flow. You can just sit through different route every time. I'm sure, like, if you speed run it properly and perfect your route, you might do the same. But I'll play it 20-30 times in a row and play a different route through every time. But it helps you out enough to just go fast, run without holding your hand too much. And it's such a clever bit of programming that it lets you feel like you're the absolute boss, just herring about, even if you're really like not nowhere. Yeah, music amazing. I think soundtrack overall definitely like top 3, but my favorite ever Sonic track, Chemical Plant Zone, is just that for me on its own would carry the soundtrack. Like you see the number of remixes and memes and Twitter and TikTok and people like doing versions of that zone. It still inspires such amazing love for it. It's just the fundamentals of it are so good. It's so funky. It's so cool. I don't know. I think Sonic 2 for me was the most hyped ever got, because obviously we talked Sonic 8-bit, we talked Sonic 1. We were hyped for those. Like, I was really excited to get it. But man, the two of us before Sonic 2 came out, like I told the story on our feed about, I literally begged this kid at school to borrow his copy of it. I was so desperate to play it. And it was like, I'm not sure if I've actually been that way about any game since. When the Saturn came out, we were massively excited about that. When Dreamcast came out, massively excited about that. But game, I don't know. That was probably the most excited I've ever been about a game. I think it's the best. It's the best Mega Drive Sonic, like hands down for me. It's like, this is what for me Sonic the Hedgehog should look like. So yeah, love it.
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, when we did our book club episode, I was actually so daunted at the fact that we actually had to cover a game as huge as Sonic 2. Yeah. It was just living through that was just like, it was something like I'd never experienced. It was like, gaming was breaking out of the confines of like kids' bedrooms and stuff. You were seeing it on the news, and like there was this buzz going around for Sonic Tuesday and stuff. And it was just like, it just gave me such an incredible reverence and excitement for the game. So when we came to actually cover it on our channel, I really wanted to make sure we did it justice. I mean, who knows if we actually did? I'll leave that to you guys.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, but like it was like the only thing that was comparable was kind of like Street Fighter 2, because it was like, I mean, Street Fighter 2 was kind of out there as well because of the coin ops were around and stuff like that, but a Mega Drive game kind of making it out like, into the consciousness of the masses and stuff was quite something that I'd never really experienced before. And yeah, I mean, so when I managed to get my copy, I was absolutely like, I was more excited than I've ever been in my life up until that point. And it's like I'd watched all the Mean Machine Sega videos, the preview tape. That was I think it was on the first issue of Mean Machine Sega when they broken into the NMS and Mean Machine Sega magazines, and like, man, I just watched that over and over. Chemical Zone, that music, it was just like, oh my goodness, this is like the most incredible thing I've ever seen slash heard. It was just unbelievable. And then when I got hold of the game, it just did not disappoint in any regard whatsoever. It was fantastic, like the graphics, the music, the gameplay. Like we enjoyed playing the two-player options and stuff like that. And it's like, and then we were playing around with like the construction cheat that they put into that one too. That was really fun, kind of making little bits of stages for each other to negotiate. It was just it was something else. And it just shook me in a way that, like, no game had ever done before. And like all these years later, just talking about it now and just remembering how incredible that moment was, it's no less now to me than it was back then. And it was quite something back then.
And you got to think, like, for us there's a huge community thing around there. We talk a lot mod games. We all sit at our computers, like, playing remotely and stuff. And you generally think two-player games are where you huddle around. And no, it's got a two-player mode. But there was us two, and then a couple of other mates. We spent so much time in Dib's bedroom just playing that game through over and over again, taking turns, a bit of two-player mode, but mainly like, just playing it through. And it's like, it bonds you. Like, we all went through that together, and it's like, it's still, I could put all that aside and say that, like, it's still the most amazing game and it stands up on its own. But with that added in as well, it's just such a special title for us. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Brilliantly put, guys. And yeah, it's all that and more is just why for me it is just one of the greatest games. And it's even small little level details. I remember a friend bought he bought a Mega Drive with Sonic 3, and even like back in '94, and this was before Sonic and Knuckles came out, I still preferred Sonic 2. I was like, you've got Sonic 3 and it's amazing, but play this one. And I remember he got stuck on the Metropolis zone. And he was like, I just don't know what to do on this bit. And it wasn't even one of the bits with like the starfish or anything like that. It was basically where you have to run up the ramp and then jump. And I was like, that's what you have to do. But it's just like like a puzzle, but it's just such a clever little, and it's all just gameplay. It's all done with one button still.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like the details and the way that it challenges you like that, which is quite unconventional. And it's all about the momentum, playing really into that original game's momentum-based physics. It's just perfection for me. So that's why.
I know we've already talked Sonic 3, so it's not coming up again. You put the level design of those two together, because Sonic 3, the way they did it was to go big. It had loads of ideas, loads of really good, cool ideas, but the way it fundamentally went better is it went bigger. Sonic 2 is tight. Like, the maps are tiny compared to Sonic 3, but like, they're just so much more enjoyable. And obviously there's still routes, you can still mix it up as well and stuff, but it's just so tight. I was thinking when you said about flow, it's like a lot of, a lot of the modern 3D Sonic stuff, when you do like a lot of 3D stages are effectively on rails for a lot of it, or even when you're playing, you are quite constrained. Like, Sonic 2 let you play free, but with that level of speed and fluidity. Yeah. And that's just that level design. The level design is so tight. Like, they thought about everything. Like, what if you jumped here? We'll put a platform there. What if you fell off here? Well, this is how you come back. And still kept the speed. You had to be really crap, as I was at first, but you had to be really crap to get it wrong. It just really helped you out. But it's just that level design is so tight. Yeah.
How many other games also have had buses full of TVs and Mega Drives? I got to play Sonic 2 quite a few times on the Sega bus. A couple of shows. I've still got the certificate somewhere from it, but I need to dig those out at some point. But just like seeing loads and loads of people just all playing Sonic 2 on a bus was just an experience that nobody's ever going to get again. Is
that the bus with the really awful painting of Tails though on the side of it? Do you remember, Bedgell? You were saying about
it's hilarious because the Sonic picture on the side is so perfect, and then Tails is so mangled. It's just hilariously bad. Yeah. But that is so cool, man. I'd have killed to do that. It was just
Yeah.
like, because it was on the new.
I took your go for you when I went the second time.
Thanks, mate. I felt that. I felt that. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. It brings back those, you seen like I think it was on like Newsround or something, and they had them
Mm.
on stage talking about how many copies. Amazing. Yeah. Well, I think we'd all probably agree that it's the best Sonic game on the Mega Drive. Albeit this is the only game that we're going to talk about on the Mega Drive. Because the next one we're going to come to, which came the following year, is on the Mega Drive's add-on. So, Martin, over to you, mate. Take it away.
Well, I'm going to pitch this very Meme Machines, and I'm going to be very metaphorical about it. So, Terminator, it's got a time travel element. Back to the Future, it's around time travel. Even the Sonic Saturday AM show had an episode where you got to go back and meet their past selves. All these things have got time travel in common, and everyone loves a good little time travel episode, don't they? Or a time travel film. It's always considered to be such good fun. So, what if you combine that with a Sonic game? I don't need to pitch anything else because that should be perfect in my. I will though, just for the sake or whatever. So this for me was the very first time I'd ever seen a CD-ROM in my entire life. Didn't know what they were. Music came on cassettes and records to me up to that point, so I'd never seen a CD-ROM in my life. Rocked up at my cousin's, bit of a familiar story there. And they've got their Mega Drive 1 bolted onto this other machine with loads of lights on it. And I'm like, what is that? So I'm about eight years old at this point, and they plonk Sonic CD in, and I'd only played Sonic 1 and 2 at that point because those were the only ones that were out. But I was just astounded. Like, it opens up with this absolutely sleek little animation, which is one of the coolest little animations I've ever seen in my life. It's never been bettered by anything else, in my opinion. And even the border, which is famously used by two people.
They're like legends, whoever they are. Yeah.
I'm sure they are. I can't remember their names though.
I heard they suck.
And then you're thrown into this game, which feels like it is Sonic 1 or Sonic 2, like, because originally, obviously, it was supposed to be an evolution from Sonic 1, but development took a little bit longer, so Sonic 2 came out first. But you start off with this really lush tropical like palm tree level, and the music kicks in, and you're not in Kansas anymore. Is probably the best way to put that, because you've obviously gone from the Mega Drive's chip tune to this CD audio, which has just got like loads of voices, woo, as it goes, and it just launches, and the game just felt faster. Having the super peel out move where you hold up and use the jump button to spin his legs around and dash off. That to me was so much cooler than the spin dash, just because it was just pure speed. And then as you're going through the levels, a lot of things will feel out of place because you're like, well, hang on, there's rings there that you can't actually physically get to because there's like scenery in the way. And then you come across these these time travel posts. And obviously I knew nothing about Sonic CD when I first played. I didn't know it was a time traveling game or anything. So I hit one of those and got met with like future, and I started dashing around, and obviously all the little sparks come out from behind you. And as you keep the speed up, you obviously time travel, and you get that cool little animation of him spinning through the air or whatever. And then you're in a totally different level, effectively. Like the layout's different, the palette's different, and that to me made the game feel like 3 or 4 times bigger than either Sonic 1 or Sonic 2 could be, because you've got effectively 4 different ways of playing each stage, because you've got your past, your present, your good future, and your bad future. And at the time, I knew nothing about the good future zones. I didn't encounter those till a little bit later when I'd played a bit more of the game. But you're going through, and yes, sometimes the bosses can feel a little bit iffy because they only take like 2 or 3 hits. Like the first one is a 3-hit wonder and you're done pretty much. And they feel a little bit lackluster in that regard. But when you consider like the scope of the actual levels, especially when you're going through the different time travel segments, it feels much bigger. And then, just like I said with Sonic 2, you get yourself your 50 rings and jump in a little gold ring, just like you do in Sonic 1. And you're met with this absolutely amazing scaling sort of thing, which unfortunately people that are listening to the audio podcast, you've been missing that in my background. We've had it on nearly the entire time with all these little UFOs, and it was just like nothing I'd ever seen before, because I haven't really played much of the Sega Super Scalers at this point or anything like that. So You've got this like open arena type thing that you can spin around, and you're just absolutely smashing through it at a rate of knots, trying to destroy these UFOs, and it just felt incredibly magical to me. And then you move on to like the next level, Collision Chaos, which is a little bit more bouncy. You end up with like a pinball boss, so you've sort of got like your spring yard, whatever you want to call it, like
Aesthetic.
it's like spring yard. I can't think of the word. The word has completely escaped me. I can't English tonight. And then obviously you go to Tidal Tempest, which has got one of the most melancholic songs you've ever heard in a Sonic game, as long as you're playing the correct version, of course, which I'll get to in a minute. And the game obviously just continues on from there, from strength to strength. And I know there's a lot of contention over certain levels like Wacky Workbench with the constant spring at the bottom, but I think that actually includes a lot more platform elements to it, because Sonic wasn't always about speed. Because a lot of people played like the first stage of Sonic and go, it's all about speed, and then you meet the second stage where it's a lot more about the complex platforming, and a lot of people do forget that, and Sonic CD carried that on in spades. And as you reach the end, you obviously go through Metallic Madness, which has, again, one of the coolest final zone musics you've ever heard in your life. And it's got some quite interesting mechanics. Again, it's sort of got the tubes taken from Chemical Plant Zone, where you can go in different directions in Act 2. And it's got the spinning wheels from Sonic 1 as well, but it introduces a lot of other mechanics, like the lasers that turn you into miniature Sonic. And that was something that we'd not really seen before. And it changed the platforming again. So it introduced a lot of elements that weren't seen in any of the other Sonic games before it. And certainly even the ones that came after it, like Sonic 3, Knuckles, Sonic 3D, or anything like that, they didn't have mechanics like that. Then you beat the last boss, you get this gorgeous little ending animation where Sonic rescues Amy, and you get, like, again, one of the coolest end credit musics you've ever heard in your life. And yeah, the game to me just felt magical beyond compare. Then you fast forward a few years and you play the PC version, and you're met with this soundtrack that sounds utterly dreadful in comparison. And I remember borrowing it from someone and thinking, what is this? And it wasn't until a little bit later that I found out that the Americans actually had a completely different soundtrack. And no slight on Spencer Nielsen, he's done a great job on Echo the Dolphin 1 and 2 on the Mega CD, but I don't know what he was doing with Sonic CD. Like, it's not a terrible soundtrack, but yeah, it's not the best. So I certainly wouldn't declare it the best Sonic game ever if it was the US version, but the Japanese and PAL Mega CD release was, in my opinion, just miles beyond anything that had been done before it, because it felt enough like Sonic 1 and 2 to be familiar, but there was an awful lot extra in there that, you know, made it even better. And obviously, with the whole time travel element and being able to get the time stones to get the good futures, or if you find the little robot machine that dispenses out the robots, if you destroy all those, you get the good futures as well. It provides you with so many different ways to play, and then with each level having such almost awkward level design, but when you go through those different past, future, present stages, you realize why it's got quite awkward design. You go from speed to exploration to just generally pinballing around, and there's just such a mix in there that I think it is the definition of a perfect Sonic game. And I think the soundtrack is, bar none, easily in the top 3 of all time.
It's one of the most fascinating dividing lines, that US versus Japan soundtrack. It wasn't until I really got on Twitter that I found anyone who defended the American one, and there's plenty of them. I do respect.
This is all you need.
That's all you need. Yeah,
all you need.
I mean, it was huge. I remember. This is one of the seminal moments in my life. When we first heard that trailer, and we were trying to dissect the lyrics, because of course, you know, sung by that American guy, but it's like it's still a little bit hard to work out. And it's the only time I've ever, for any song, sat down and tried to work them out. And I handed them to Dibbs and Wayne, our other friend. And I remember you coming back a couple of days later, and I can hear you saying it. The words were, "Wayne and I have spoken, and we've decided that you have got the lyrics right." And I was like, "Yes, come on!"
Really?
Yeah, it's always stuck with me.
To like peer review or something.
It went to peer review. Yeah, that's how important. That's how important this stuff was. But I mean, man, I'll tell you what, the first time I saw that Sonic intro on the internet, years after playing the game, I couldn't believe how letterboxed it was. Like, I remember it being this massive cinematic thing, and it was like, it's still got it though. It doesn't matter how small it is. It's such a perfect intro. I definitely found this one of the harder Sonics, without doubt. It's like I find it quite tricky. Certainly, like I don't think I ever really mastered it. You like I've got it now, but Tibbs, you had it back in the day, and I'd never played it as much as the others. I found it trickier, more mature. Maybe that's the way to put it. Glad to see like now Toshima have a crack at it because it was good having the competing visions of what Sonic could be with like Sonic 2 coming out of the like American guys and then Sonic CD being contrasted. And like, I don't know, I think it feels again, we keep saying pure. I certainly think in the graphics, I think it's kept that kind of Sonic 1 simplicity almost to the like aesthetic, but then it's just obviously like ramped it up with like the trickery and stuff. I think it's a cracking game. I think I always remember it so fondly because of the soundtrack, and then I come and play it, and maybe don't quite click with it as much as some of the other like Sonic of the era, but I respect it because it's like it's complex. It's like got great ideas. Yeah, it's a beautiful game. It's still in my top five, but it's kind of just doesn't quite get me the way the others do.
What about yourself, Dibbs?
I mean, this for me, this was my Sonic 3, really. This was the one that kind of clicked with me because
Is it because it
I,
didn't have a 3 in the name that you gave it a pass?
yeah, so that worked. So
It's a reset. It's fine.
If you put a little dash in the C, it looks like a 3.
don't tell me that. I won't like it anymore. No, but like, so the first time I ever saw it, like, we had a friend called Chris who'd got a Mega CD, and I went around his house, and that intro was playing, and I was just like, what is this? This is unbelievable. And like the song was just like playing so loud and stuff that it just felt like one of those really cool moments, like those 90s cool moments. And I was just like, there it is. Yeah. That's brilliant. Yeah, I mean, like I'd never seen anything like it because Sonic was like one of my favorite characters, and to see him portrayed in this manner that he was so cool, like racing through the landscape and whatever, like going, like walking across, going across the lake and then up that chain and all that sort of stuff. It was just like this is so unbelievable, and it made me just immediately want a Mega CD. And so somehow, because they were so expensive, they were like 270 quid or something, weren't they? And it's like I usually can remember quite specifically how I managed to accumulate money and stuff to get these consoles, but I cannot think for the life of me where I got the money for a Mega CD. But like I went and got one like brand new. And yeah, I just got Sonic CD with it, and it was just oh my goodness, I just played it absolutely through over and over again, and like doing all the good future stuff and everything like that, and just like appreciating as well, like what you're saying, how many different versions of the acts they had to produce in order to kind of put this game together. And it was just like the work that went into it, and oh man, and the music as well. It was just so good. Like we actually used like a remix we did of one of the songs on our channel over and over. I can't remember. It was a good future
Yeah,
of one
it's
of them
Good
anyway.
Future and
Yeah.
Metallic Madness.
Is
Yeah,
it?
That's what
Yeah,
you
but
use.
yeah, we love that little
You should use the bad future from Tidal Tempest. That is like the most
you know.
evil trance you've ever heard in your life.
We'll put that on the list for the next one. But yeah, it was just, oh man, and it was kind of like a real moment actually as well because it was very Japanese feeling, like with the anime intro and stuff. And right at that time, I don't know if you remember a magazine called Manga Mania that kind of it was kind of all coming off the back of the popularity of Akira because that had kind of started making its way to the West really. And it was this magazine Manga Mania was had all these anime comics in it and stuff like that, and I remember it felt like a Japanese kind of time in a weird kind of way, like with like reading all these Japanese comics and then playing Sonic CD, which had a very strong Japanese basis to it. Like it felt like a lot more Japanese than some of the other kind of Sonic games that were kind of on the way. So yeah, I really liked that, but it was just such an incredible game, and I just absolutely loved it. And one of the things that it really did that that really agreed with me is because it had an inbuilt time attack feature, and that's probably one of the reasons why it really sat well with me because I just remember doing what was it? It was the Stardust Speedway where you're racing the Metal Sonic and like just playing that over and over again and like bouncing off the top of ramps and stuff and just flying for like miles across the scenery and just trying to get like my absolute best time out of this thing. And I just found it so fun in every regard. It just ticked every box really of what I was looking for, you know. It looked great, it sounded great, it played great, and it had the time attacks thing. So I was well set with it. So that's how I kind of felt about it. Absolutely loved it.
Would this have been our first CD soundtrack? Is this like, did you have anything before this? I don't think you did you? Like, this was
No, it was my first CD game, I guess. Yeah, yeah,
you.
for
I
sure.
mean, you really, really felt it. It just felt so classy and cool. Like, it really. I know, like Mega CD got a lot of knocks and stuff, but
I love
this
that
fe-
machine.
this felt it felt real next generation with that music and obviously some of the graphical tricks did and that anime intro. You know, I know
Mm,
a lot of the games made crappy use of FMV, but this I think this one for me is the showcase title for Mega CD. Like, of there are a couple of the corkers, obviously Snatcher and Final Fight, like right up there too.
mm.
But for me, this was the real showcase. This gave it the gloss. It felt so exciting and cool. So it's still like, yeah, it resonates with me. I still love it as a game, but I think I just never got to spend enough time with it back in the day. It's more complex. You've got to work your way through it, definitely.
Yeah, I think it definitely is the showcase for the Mega CD, especially with the Mode 7 special stages, the CD
Mm.
soundtrack, and just the sheer variety when you've got the past, present, and two future levels. It really like plays on the extra storage of the Mega CD.
Mm.
My history with this is this for probably over a decade was my white whale. Like I wanted this game so badly in
Mm.
1993, but there was absolutely no chance that my parents were gonna like. I remember asking for a Mega CD, and I think they just laughed. Um, so
They were
it was
so
like
much
it's like
though.
how much?
Yeah, they was crazy. That price at that time was insane, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
So the closest I got to a taste of it was 1997 with Sonic Jam, where you had the full kind of window, like
Mm.
the blitzed up intro, which I would watch over and over and over and over again. And I was so gutted it wasn't on Sonic Jam. I was just like, why is this game not on here? Like, I don't understand. And then I wouldn't actually get to play any of it until probably 2000, 1999 or 2000, when I first got a PC, and obviously there was a demo circulating that you could download, and all it was like Palm Tree Panic acts. I think it was all three acts, but there was no music, there was no CD audio because it was like a 90s download demo. So there's no CD audio. It's just like you wouldn't get music unless you went to the past.
Oh,
Because that actually uses kind of traditional like Mega Drive instrumentation.
yeah.
So I was just like, I just had a taste of it, and I wouldn't actually play it until about 2005
Mm.
when Martin, I know what version you've got playing behind you because I've seen Sonic the Fighters on it. And for all you're talking about the Japanese soundtrack, I know for a fact that that version on Sonic Gems Collection has only got the American soundtrack on it.
This isn't Sonic Gems.
Is it not?
No, this is the Christian Whitehead PS3 version, as was
Right,
Sonic the
because I saw
Fighters. Yeah.
Sonic the Oh, I saw
Yeah,
Sonic the
no,
Fighters
yeah.
on there, and I thought it was
Sonic
Sonic
Gems. No,
Gems.
I hated that version of Sonic CD. That drove me up the wall being forced to play the US soundtrack.
Oh
Oh,
man.
I thought Sonic Gem was like because I saw Sonic the Fighters earlier. I was like, he's got Sonic Gems on there, but that was the first way. That was the like as soon as I saw it, like I had a GameCube. I just got a GameCube. They were selling them for I think I got it for 30 quid in
Mate.
Curry's. They were
Nice.
clearing them out to make way for Xbox 360. It was just released, and then like Sonic Gems came out not long after. So I was like, "This is it! I'm finally going to play Sonic CD." And obviously, I had to play it with the American soundtrack. And I'm watching the intro, and it's like Sonic Boom. Sonic. I was like, "This
Mm.
isn't the
It's so
Sonic
flat.
CD I wanted to play." And I did. I played it. I beat it. And I didn't love it straight away. Um, when I actually loved it was I played the Christian Whitehead version, which is absolutely brilliant. But then I went back and I got my hands on the Mega CD and actually played the original. And that's when I kind of, for all the extra smoothness that the kind of the special stages have, I feel like the low frame rate, and it's probably just me being weird, but I feel like they handle better on the Mega CD original. I feel like they're a little bit too fast and slippery on the Christian Whitehead version. I don't know, maybe
Oh,
that's
okay.
just me. Um, And yeah, absolutely. That's when I actually grew to. That's what this is the game that I remember flicking through the July issue of Mean Machine Sega with their 6-page preview, like over and over and over again, obsessing over it. This was the game that I was looking for. Um, Sonic CD is an odd one for me. It probably isn't in my top five, and there's a lot of competition in that top five.
Mm.
I do absolutely love it. I do think it's an absolutely fantastic game. And what Sonic CD has, what every other Sonic game doesn't have, is flexibility because you can play that game however you want.
Mm.
Now, the reason why a lot of the time it frustrates me a little bit is because whereas a game like that that's kind of a lot more open, I have to do everything. So I have to go to the past. I have to find the Metal Sonic hologram. I have to find the animal trap. And I always forget where they are, which is fine. Palm Tree Panic, love it. Collision Chaos, that level can drive me up the wall trying to find a past post, trying to find the Sonic hologram, trying to find and but the thing is you don't have to play it that way. You can play it like a normal Sonic game. Or you
Mm.
can, you can but it is great that you can go and there's a lot of satisfaction in going, right, go to the future, I'll go back to the past, I'll get the good future, I'll go back to the present, back to the future again, and it's like, oh, now I can get to experience the all lovely, happy future that I've made. And I think it's probably just the way that I can't unwire my brain to play it any other way. And when I can't do that, I get frustrated. But you can just play it like a normal Sonic game, and you can get that good ending by just running through it and getting the special stages. And I've seen people criticize the act design. I don't think there's a problem with it. People might think it looks sloppy because there's rings in the environment, but that's because of the time travel mechanic. If you play it normally, like a normal Sonic game, it's every bit as good as say Sonic, the original Sonic the Hedgehog. It's definitely an absolutely top of the line Sonic game in that respect. So you can, and as you say, Dibbs, you've got the time attack mode, which really does let you, focus on that mythical flow state that you need to get into.
Mm.
And let's not forget, I mean, you get into the game's spectacular to start off with because you start off, you see the intro, hit start, and then you've got like the speed ramp, and you run up and you see Sonic kind of running up the wall, and then he flies off. So it's kind of got a bit of everything. I do think that stages like Wacky Workbench do let it down a little bit, especially with the bouncy floor. That's another one that can drive me insane. But it really is still a top tier gaming experience, and definitely one of the very best. Probably for the reasons that I've said, not my personal favorite. As I say, there's little things that irk me, and that's purely because I'm like, well, if I'm going to play this game, I need to do everything. And it's like sometimes I need to. I really should something to sit down, and there's something that I want to do, which means that I'm going to have to play it on basically everything and play it through it about 7 times. So I'm really going to have to probably think about trying to either remember where all these holograms and animal traps are, or just play it in a more linear
Just
way.
remember, you've only got to get to Quartz Quadrant Act 1, and if you've got all of them so far, you can good future from then on without having to worry
I
about
know. And that is another thing that does kind of irk me a little bit. It's like, but I still want to go and save the animals and destroy the holograms. I know I've got all the time stones now.
I did do it once where I did everything without getting the time stones. So I went back and did every single pod to obviously get the good future. And I can't remember if it gave me the good ending or not. I don't think it did, even though I still went to the good future. No, it still took me to the good future in Metallic Madness, but because in the end, Robotnik's still got one of the time stones in the animation, hasn't it?
Yeah,
but the other
that's
thing
harsh. It's so much more work to do it that way.
It is, but it's fun. So But the other thing to be said about Sonic CD is how many other Sonic games, if you just leave him standing there, he literally just goes, "What the hell?" and jumps off the side.
I'm out of here. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's so unique.
It's unique. Because obviously it's an offshoot. It's like the main series obviously went down SDI and got its momentum with Sonic 2 and then sort of sped off down a particular route. And this was an offshoot. It was kind of like it was a 1.5 in style in many ways, and it was like, and it didn't get carried on, that bit of it, and it's great for that. It's also one of the most 90s games out there. I was watching that gameplay footage playing behind mine. That psychedelic background on the Mode 7 bit, well, whatever it is, on the special stage. they literally used that exact same effect in the background of the word. Do you remember the word? Like when a band was playing, that exact way. Literally exactly the same. You cannot get more 90s. And like if you look on the back of the CD and stuff, it just screams like that early 90s, like slightly like grungy, grainy coloration. It's just so like, I don't know. It's evocative. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, what's they kind of use a similar effect in Earthbound as well. If you ever played that game, it was very
of an era.
much of the very much.
Well, I mean, the music definitely does because you've just got that 90s riffage off the early 90s Euro dance. So, you've got your snap and with rhythm and dance and stuff like that. And it goes off that really, really nicely with sort of like it's trance electronic dance music, but then you've got like the piano beats chucking in there. But Cosmic Eternity is still one of the best end credit themes ever created. Like it's up there with Fantasy Star Online's. Like it's just sublime. It's never going to be beaten.
Yeah.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean, just looking at the Japanese and the power boxes there, like, you can't really see the spray paint on the power box, but I do love the makeup of the Japanese one. I don't own the US version, by the way.
Their box is really, really weird. So, but Sonic's first rival as well.
Yeah,
proper. Like it's a lot of firsts in it.
Yeah, it does introduce some great characters, and I will come to the bosses as well because I know they're not your traditional Sonic bosses, and you don't bop them on the head 8 times, but I really do like the inventiveness around them. Like, I know I said I didn't like Wacky Workbench as kind of a zone, but the boss, and it is the boss on the treadmill, isn't it? Where he's standing there and he's laughing.
That's Quartz Quadrant.
Is that Quartz Quadrant?
Wacky Workbench is the one where you got to jump on the
blocks.
blocks.
Oh, yes. You have to jump up.
Yes,
you have to chase him up. Yeah, so Quartz Quadrant boss where you have to run on the treadmill and like he's just standing there laughing and not knowing that the bottom of his tube is melting underneath. I think that's so clever, that bit. I think I do like the
Stardust Speedway as well. Like that had never been done in a Sonic game either.
Yeah, it's so unique. It's unique. It's flexible. You can play it a variety of ways. In that regard, it pretty much is almost the ultimate Sonic game.
Sounds like I've done my job then, boys.
But as I say, it's not quite for me. But I can see objectively why it is up there. I mean, it's in my top 10 for certain. It's an absolutely brilliant game, and objectively, I can see why. Personally, it's not quite there for me. Same as you, Bedgell. But there you go.
There you go.
So one game to go, and we're going to zoom past the time post. Future. And this is 25 years after Sonic CD? Or 24 years, 2017 your one was. So give us your pitch, Bedgell.
Yeah, good future, obviously, because this is such a classic game. Look, it's a tricky one because obviously we've threaded through this, we've been raving about these other games. I guess it kind of comes to when we're talking Sonic 2 moving into Sonic 3, you do think, how can you improve on it? Like, how can you take what is such a perfect game and improve? And I always thought Sonic 3 went bigger, but it changed elements, and it always felt a little bit like they were changing stuff for the sake of it. And the answer is this game. This is how you do it. Sonic Mania is how you improve on Sonic 2. And I think, it's perfect.
Yep, so I pulled up my copy and the booklet fell out, which
I think because
amused Martin no end. But go on, mate.
It's remix, isn't it? Sonic Mania gets the one big knock that it gets is it rehashes ideas, it reuses stuff, and of course that's the point. It's that's when they sat down to do it, and Iizuka and Christian Whitehead are like planning out how it's going to be. Their idea was mix old and new. Take the Mania, the fandom, like everything that people loved about it, which obviously it borrows from loads of games, but it borrows loads of great stuff from Sonic 2, and remix it. Like, do it again, but do it with a bit of a spin. Add some ideas to it, but don't move too far away from it. Keep that stuff and build on it. Sonic 3, I always thought, wanted to change stuff for change's sake and sort of went off in a bit of a new direction. And it was great and it was inventive, but it was kind of like, it's not clicking. Sonic Mania feels like, obviously, it reuses the great stuff, but then its extra ideas are exactly what I wanted. They're exactly what I thought Sonic 2 did so well. It then does so well as well. All the levels, like all the new stuff they've put in, it never ever gets in the way. I can't take the kind of examples. Obviously, there's so many times where like you're like zoom through a stage and like you'll latch onto like hanging monkey bars or something, but it just flows. You're straight onto the monkey bars and you go straight off, and then there's just a platform or a spring there that you land on, then it pings you onto the next bit straight away. And you feel like you're playing it. You don't feel like it's autopiloting you, but it also just moves so beautifully and so fast. Like I don't know, little examples like the chemical plant's own pipes. You know, how can you really make this any better? It's just one idea. Well, what about if you could choose your direction and zoom off? You know, I know like it's not exactly the most original idea, but it works. It just adds that extra little change. And the only bit about chemical plant that I always just frustrate me is getting stuck in the goo. What's it called again? You
The
said
Mega
it.
Mac.
The Mega Mac. Well, what about if we pump it with a syringe and make it bouncy instead, and then you don't have to go in it? I just think it's remix, and obviously we've had a few of these games now, because I'd say I feel exactly the same way as I'm sure a lot of people do about Streets of Rage 2 to Streets of Rage 4. You know, it's like, okay, how do you really revisit an old franchise? I know that Sonic had loads of games in between, but how do you go back to it? How do you build on it? It's definitely that blend of honor the past, respect it, keep the good bits, but remix it. Don't try and do something that's completely too new, but just remix it. That was exactly their vision, and they landed it. I just think, to me, it feels like I'm playing like Sonic 2, but just with some of the inhibitions of the tech taken off. You know, if the same people with the same vision had made a game now with the power of those consoles to just give them that bit more freedom, it feels like that's what they would have made. So honor the past but remix it. It's just, he lands it so well, and you can tell like that they've all got such respect for the games. Obviously, you know, the devs, Christian White especially, like came from that community of the modern and the fan hack scene, and T Lopes had done his like remixes of tracks before all of this stuff came along. They're all people that have got this real love for it, and it just plays through. You know, a lot of those the stuff that comes out the Sonic competition every year, I forget the name of it. You know,
Sonic hacking competition.
Sonic hacking competition.
SHC.
You do see little glimpses, don't you? A lot of them have an idea or a few bits or a bit of level design, which is really great, and you think, yeah, you've really got that. And this is a game. Sonic Mania is a game that just does it level after level after level. You know, it's like it is the perfect fan honoring, obviously with the you know, with the blessing of and the sort of might of the full team behind them. And I just say, I guess I got to say the same for what they do with the music. You know, T Lopes starts out with the original track with just a tiny bit of changes, and then goes and does his own thing, and he gets it. I wouldn't necessarily say they're as good, but he definitely, like, you know, he makes something that's his own that also kind of like respects and builds on the past. It's a tricky one. You know, if we were literally just doing this from scratch, would I maybe have gone Sonic 2 like itself? I don't know. I bounce between them. When I play Sonic 2, I'm like, this is my favorite. Yeah, no modern game can come and trash this. And then I play Sonic Mania and I'm like, oh man, I don't know, because it's got everything I love and it's got more of it. And it's the same.
Bedgell doesn't have a favorite child, clearly.
No, Streets of Rage 2, Streets of Rage 4, it's the same. Nothing can beat this. This is the classic Streets of Rage 2. Nothing can ever beat this. Play Streets of Rage 4 and I'm like, yeah, but it's kind of got all that and it's got more. Yeah, Sonic Mania, it's a hard sell to three other retro gamers and to everyone listening to ever say this could do it, but their respect and love for it really shines through. And I think they do take everything that's good and build on it with good ideas. And what could be better than that?
Yeah, I've always said that. You know, I've played a lot of it recently. For something that I'm working on alongside Sonic Superstars, and it's just a joy to play. It really is. And it really is the perfect Sonic game for anyone that either A, doesn't want to replay the other ones, or B, hasn't played a Sonic game for a long time, or C, has never played a Sonic game before. Because I think if someone said to me, it's like, I've never played a Sonic game before, which one should I play? I probably wouldn't say Sonic 2. I'd probably say play Sonic Mania first, because it's kind of like someone saying it really is a greatest hits. And it's like, if someone said to you, I've never listened to Queen before, what Queen album should I listen to? You say you listen to greatest hits first.
Yeah.
And then if you like that, then, you know, listen to their other albums. And I think that's the job that Mania does. I think and it depends what your audience is, and it depends what you're looking for. Because I think if you're looking, if because I obviously play the other ones pretty much annually. I play Sonic
Mm,
2 at least twice a year, sometimes
mm,
more than that. Sonic 1 I play once a year. Sonic 3 and Knuckles probably every other year, just because it's a bigger undertaking. Same with
mm,
Sonic CD. And I think that's probably where it feels unfair to criticize Sonic Mania, whereas I'm like, I do like, back in 2017, I played through Sonic Mania with every character twice. So I maxed out all the save slots all
mm.
along, and it would be, I just wanted it to like go along, and it's like ding, clear,
Yeah,
clear, clear, clear. As I loved it. And then I started replaying the other ones again. And then when I go back to it, I'm like, yeah, I've done all this already.
mm,
Ah, okay.
But that feels harsh to criticize it for that, because that's what it's like you're saying, Bedgell. That's what it's meant to do. It's a
Mm,
celebration of all that stuff. But then it
mm,
does all this other stuff as well, which, it's entirely reliant on fan service. But that's the point.
mm,
When even playing it recently, it's just like you've got the Metal Sonic chase, and that's cool. That's a nice callback to and you're on Stardust Speedway at the time, which, you know, Stardust Speedway isn't a rehash. It includes bits of Marble Garden from Sonic 3 in, which I think is
mm.
genius. And then you have the chase through Metal Sonic. He stops, gets in the Knuckles Chaotix boss pod, and then starts spitting out 8-bit Silver Sonics. And I was just like, that is so good. That is so clever. And that just ticks so many fan service nostalgia
Yeah, yeah.
boxes.
Even to the point
And
it chucks in a bit of Daytona here and there as well, and you're like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
you're basically me making a game, thanks. Yeah,
yeah,
Even
I
Mean
love
Bean
that.
Machines in
I
it
was
as well,
gonna
isn't it?
say, yeah, Mean Bean Machine boss fight is
yes,
brilliant,
yeah,
isn't
yeah, yeah.
it? That was great.
No,
yeah.
it's.
So
Do you know what? Obviously, like, I'm not going to speak against my own pick. I'm going to fight to the death that this is the best for this podcast. But obviously, I think the album comparison is perfect, because you're right. It's the greatest hits, and obviously, like, the greatest hits is the selected best bits from every album, and that's great. But sometimes you want the depth of the original album. You hear that one track which is amazing, and in your head you can hear the next track play, and it doesn't, because it's the greatest hits. And even on the original album, some of the tracks aren't as strong, but together, because it's got the cohesiveness of that album and that vision, it does kind of make more sense. And it is a little bit like that when you play the bits that echo those games, and there's a little bit of you that just thinks, oh, I quite fancy playing that, actually, which is no
yeah,
bad thing. If Sonic Mania is that introduction to Sonic and it gets you playing it, or it's a reminder to us lot of those Sonics, that's great. And it has its place, because it does do plenty of new stuff, so it can be played as well. But I think that's a great comparison, because sometimes you're like, yeah, Sonic Mania, you are all the good bits, but sometimes I just want the vision and the feel of that
yeah.
end to end of a different game, which you don't quite do. You hang together, but you hang together as a greatest hits. It's a great comparison.
What about yourself, Martin? What are your thoughts on Sonic Mania?
So I sometimes interchange CD and Mania as what my favorite is, depending on how I'm feeling on a particular day. But obviously, the thing with Mania for me is it is the perfect game for the Sonic fan, because of just the amount of stuff in it that's callbacks to previous games, including ones that people won't really have played, like Chaotix. And then when you move on to Sonic Mania Plus, and you've got the inclusion of Mighty and Ray from Sega Sonic, and I'm an unapologetic Sega Sonic lover. I love that game a bit. I think it's great. But that to me was just the epitome of amazing. But it wouldn't exist without all these other Sonic games, because as we've spoken about before in the past, Dan, Sonic Mania is about 80% old stuff, and it's only about 20% new, and that's kind of what stunts it a little bit. Like, you've got some absolutely fantastic new stages. When T. Lopes was showing off the music before the game came out, he showed off Mirage Saloon Act 1 for Sonic. And I thought that was one of the best Sonic tunes I've ever heard in my life. It was like high energy. And then you play the stage itself, and it's basically Sky Chase in a
Yeah,
desert. Like, it was brilliant. But then you've got some of these other stages, but there's only four new stages, because you've got Titan Monarch, Mirage Saloon, what's the Press Garden, and then
yeah,
obviously Studiopolis, which is pretty much the best one overall. Um,
There's a reason why Studiopolis is in all the trailers. If you look back at all the announced trailers, it's like Studiopolis Classic Zones,
Yeah.
Studiopolis Act 2. It's the best one. I mean, that transition from Act 1 to Act 2, where you beat the hardboiled heavy on the bike, and then you get the your score adds up, and it goes, and then it's like a remix of that clear music. It goes bam 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 bam, and the TVs will spin round, and it's like Dr. Robotnik's on there. It's the best transition out of all of the games. So, but yeah,
then you got the weather boss at the end of it as well, which was really, really cool. Using the little the cluckers from Sonic and Knuckles that blow the air or whatever they were. I thought that was very cool. But as I said, this game wouldn't exist without the other games. And actually, in fairness, my pick most of all, really, because there's 2 Sonic CD stages in it. You've got your Stardust Speedway, and then you've got Metallic Madness as well, which has got some absolutely phenomenal level design in it, especially jumping into the background on the little catapults and everything. But that's what stops it being number 1 for me generally, is just the fact that it does rely on so much of the other games to actually be as good as it is. And that's what stops it from being number 1, even though it is practically perfect in every way. I mean, it's the second Sonic game that's got an animated intro, which is great. And then
always boosts it. Yeah.
So CD and Mania are just like they're the coolest just purely because of that. But then obviously they obviously went full on with it, and you got the Sonic Mania Adventures cartoons as well, which pound for pound for me are 6 really enjoyable short animation films, which you can obviously get in the Sonic Origins Plus. So you don't have to rely on having the internet to watch them now. And then they did that really cool Christmas themed one with Amy and Metal Sonic. So I just feel like, yes, it's just slightly pipped to the post for me. If I'd not gone for Sonic CD, I probably would have taken Mania. But yeah, it's just ever so slightly pipped because it needs the other games to be as good as it is.
Yeah, it does. It's that thing, isn't it? It's like we're always torn as retro fans. Do we want people to reinvent and make new and like come up with a new thing, instead of going to Streets of Rage 4 as an example, look to Shinobi, and see they really changed so much and kind of created their own vision for what that kind of game would be like. Do we want them to kind of come up with new, or do we want them to make more of the old? This is the balance, isn't it? I think they get, you can never please everyone, but I think that is the right balance for me. It's like, reuse the old, sure, because I want that, but obviously have your own ideas. I don't want them to completely recreate it, because when they have, generally they just can't nail it. So fair play to them.
I would be interested in seeing what a Sonic Mania 2 could potentially be like, whether it would be a big rehash or whether it would actually be the other way, where it would be 80% new stuff and then maybe a couple of remix zones. Like you could get remix zones from like the 8-bit games. So we're zipping through a really cool HD version of Bridge Zone, for example. That would be quite cool.
Yeah.
And just having a raft of other new zones. So I would be interested to see what Mania 2 would be if we ever got one, but I just don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately.
No, I think that they Christian Whitehead and Takashi Iizuka both agreed that it needed to be brand new, the next game. But I think I hadn't thought about it before, Martin, but you have. I think that is an absolutely outstanding idea, is to use the 8-bit zones, because they haven't been made in 16-bit, apart from the fan port of Triple Trouble.
But even Generations 3DS didn't use any of them. It used more of the DS stuff for its inspiration, which was a bit of a missed opportunity in my opinion, because it could have really been the handheld version effectively compared to the console one, because the two are actually different games with different acts, so it's worth playing both. But yeah, that was a missed opportunity in Generations 3DS.
Yeah, I think a Mania 2 with all the 8 with zones from the 8-bit games, that would be tasty.
I didn't know they'd go for the hang glider.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Do you know what? I could definitely see him doing it. I don't think they've done this. Where do you remember the bit in Mario Odyssey where like you're running about and you then go inside a wall and you play a bit of NES style Mario?
Yeah.
That
Mario Odyssey, what's that?
And dude, we're on a Sega show here.
I genuinely haven't played Mario Odyssey, to be fair. So.
By the way, that's obviously another podcast, but not my favorite Mario game by a long stretch. But that is a cool idea. It's hard, isn't it? Because they are so basic. It's it's hard to kind of like, how do you expand them and like keep the vision but it would be cool. I'd love to see him again. So
Yeah. Dibs, I think we haven't heard what you have to say about Mania just yet, mate. So over to
Yeah.
you.
Well, for me, Sonic Mania was what I needed to happen really, because it'd been so many years kind of them trying their hand at all these different 3D games and stuff like that. And then, like what we were talking about earlier with Sonic Unleashed, it's like trying to pick out a good bit somewhere and kind of like, get your Sonic like, fun off of these kind of small snippets. Like, and suddenly this game came along where it felt like the people who made it understood what made Sonic good. And I was like, yes, this is what I wanted. This is like, this works. Like the vision these people have. It's like they're Sonic fans. You know what I mean? You could feel their passion just playing the game. And it was like that flow state and everything like that. It was all over it. Like, so even when they did incorporate these other ideas, like I think Bedgell was saying, it still was working and it was natural and it was part of everything that was going on. And it actually felt like a real good progression from the old games that had kind of gone astray for many years as we were lost in the wilderness or something like that, waiting for Sega to finally do Sonic justice again. And of course, it took Christian Whitehead to actually do it, but it was such a good game. Like every part of it, like just the animation, the colors, the music, everything. It just clicked with me completely, and I was finally enjoying Sonic again and not just looking for snippets of fun. You know what I mean? It's like I could
Yeah.
literally sit down and let myself get completely lost in this new Sonic game. Well, new with heavy nods to the past, but you get what I'm saying. But like, yeah, but I just thought it was a fantastic game, and it was yeah, it was just great to be able to play like, Sonic looking great in a 2D style on these modern consoles and stuff, because I don't really play too many modern games, so it was good to use the flipping things for something. So
Yeah. But the thing is, like, I think it's what we all needed, right?
mm,
yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have all seen obviously we all watched the announced trailer, but have you guys watched the reaction videos? I there's videos on there that that people are taking with their phones and stuff.
Mm.
mm,
And honestly, I click them on now and again, and I've got one in an upcoming video. But every time I watch them, it gives me goosebumps
mm.
Mm.
because it's like they're watching it and it's just like they're all like, hey, there's a new Sonic game, and then it starts off going for, and then like, and when he starts running back, everyone's like, and it says Christian Whitehead, and like,
Yeah.
and then they see that Sonic burst through the Studiopolis zone, and the whole thing explodes,
Oh, that's
and I'm getting
cool.
chills just talking about it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's like you just feel that energy that everyone wanted it so bad, and it's easiest, and I feel a bit bad dogging on it, and it's like I was saying, Bedroll, like it feels bad because what it does exactly what it was supposed to
Yeah.
do. It does it perfectly, so it feels harsh when I say about it. It's a retread, and I've done all this when I revisit the other games.
Mm.
It's like I'm not getting much out of it now, but at the time, it was perfect. It did
mm,
exactly what it needed to do. Everyone, it's like, I mean, it came alongside Sonic Forces, which was really. I mean that I don't think that game's as bad as people make it out to be, but it wasn't amazing. But the problem is it suffers by going alongside Sonic Mania
Yeah, yeah,
because Sonic
yeah.
Mania is
yeah.
just so amazing and just absolutely nails it. And after off the back of Sonic 4 Episode 1 and 2, off the
Mm,
back of the Rush games, which are okay, but they got their own feel to them. Even the advanced games, I love the first advanced game, and the second two are a little bit weird. Especially the second one, which has got like every boss fight is on rails, is on
Mm.
this auto
mm.
scroll, which I hate. So after all of that, it's just like you saying, Dibs, it's what we needed.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's it.
And
So
even though,
so fun, yeah.
Plus, it had that Sega Saturn looking stage, didn't it? Like, was it kind of like a bonus stage where you kind of collected up the little chips and stuff, and it
yeah,
had
yeah,
like the Sonic from like Sega Saturn on it. That
yeah.
was cool. I liked that they acknowledged that.
Yeah.
Well, it's also worth noting that Plus had the additional level in it as well when you played on Encore mode, because obviously Encore mode just completely changed the palette. So you're seeing Green Hill in Sunset
Yeah.
effectively. So
That's
it was a
cool.
great way of playing through it in a different way, because obviously you didn't have lives either. Each character was your life, and you just had to try
Yeah.
and collect them as you went. But you also got to play the Angel Island zone in
Yeah.
short, and then obviously ended up with that little chaotics bit at the end where you rescue either Mighty or Ray.
Yeah.
And then you've also got the pinball bonus stage as well on that, which obviously used the was it the Trap Tower music from Sega Sonic? So again, it just gave you that little bit extra.
Yeah.
So it's always worth playing that over just the base version. But yeah, as you said, it was the right Sonic at the right time for pretty much everyone. And yeah, it cannot be understated how important Mania was when it came out. I remember, as you were saying, it got sort of announced, and it was like watching the Force Awakens trailer. Like regardless of what everyone thought of the film itself, when the trailer came
Yeah,
and you
that was
got sort of,
hype.
yeah, you
Yeah.
got Finn's head just pop up and just like the music, and everyone was just like, and
Yeah.
that's what Mania was to me. Like every announcement, I lapped it up like a cat with a saucer of milk. And then the
Yeah.
game came out, and I sat there and I basically ignored my wife the entire evening. I just said, "You're not getting a look in, love." Like I said the exact same thing to her when Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain came out. I said, "Go in the other room. I'm not interacting with you. I'm sitting here until it is complete."
I belong to gaming tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. I will buy you Dominoes. That's the only thing I'm going to do. I'm sitting here and I do nothing else. And
That's
Mania,
reasonable.
yeah,
That's
of
fair.
course it
Yeah.
was. Of course
Yeah,
it was. At least I fed
for
up.
sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mania was just the right game at the right time for a lot
Yeah.
of people. And it cannot be understated how important that is after years of being sort of let down with the Sonic brand, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But the replay thing's true, Dan, as well. Like you said, you replay them every year. Like mine are always come back to Sonic 2 to the point of every single device I ever own, I rebuy. So like when I've got Steam, when I've got like the every new laptop I get, download and put it on there. Like I've got it on the 3DS set next to me now. Every machine's got Sonic 2 on, except the Switch. The Switch has got Mania, and it's got its place because like I'll replay. I play all the Sonics, but Sonic 2 gets played every couple of months. It's my ultimate like pick up and just have a blast like of however long game. And Mania's got that too. So if I find myself with the Switch, Mania gets played. The telling thing is though, it doesn't get played over Sonic 2 when I've got them both. So
Did you
really
not download
transparent.
the Sega Ages version of Sonic 2 on the Switch?
So segue of Sonic 2. No.
Yeah.
The Switch belongs to Mania. That's the point. It's like
Well, Martin, I don't know if you know, because Sonic 1 does. Does Sonic 2 on the Switch have Mega Play mode?
Ooh, it's been a while since I've touched it.
Sonic
So
1
I don't
does.
know, to be honest with you. The last time I played it, I just let my son have fun with it because he liked going through Emerald Hill and Chemical Plant. He's not quite mastered Chemical Plant yet, but he's getting there. He's getting there. But yeah, I'll have to have a look when I'm free to check it out and see if it does.
Yeah, because I'm like you, Bedgell. I'll play Sonic 2 on everything. And yeah, I remember playing it on the 3DS. I bought it specifically for the 3DS. I was like, well, it's different, so I'm going to play it this way. And yeah, you said I've got it on everything except for the Switch. And I was thinking, I haven't got it on the Switch either. And I just bought Sonic 1 on the Switch, and that's got the Mega Play mode. So maybe I'll buy Sonic 2.
Yeah.
You need to get the Thunder Force ports on the Switch, AC and 4. Like they're perfect ways of playing those games.
Yeah, it is a damn handy console, the Switch. But I said to you all before as well about Sonic 2 that. I mean, I've literally just today got a new copy of Sonic 2 with I'm gonna put it in with the Mega Drive Mini for those listening. But it's just it's that game persists forever. But it counts. It counts.
I've got my old one.
So I don't. There's a bit of me that says I don't need any other Sonic. I've got Sonic 2, but Mania's the other one that gets playtime. It's cracking.
Yeah. Well put, Bedgell. So 4 Sonic games. We've gone well over this one. This is like nearly 2.5 hours has got completely flown by. And that was when we hit the record button, with regardless of the preamble that we had before this. But right, just to quickly round up then. Have we made a believer out of anyone? I'm still firmly in the Sonic 2 camp. For me, Sonic 2 is still the greatest Sonic game ever made. Dibbs, where are you sat?
Oh, I gotta stick with my choice. I do.
Yeah, sticking
As
with
much
Sonic
as I love
AB.
those other games, like I mean, this is the thing. I love all these games. Like every good thing you guys are saying about it, I completely agree with. So I'm just nodding along the whole time. But you know, Sonic on the Master System's just got a special place in my heart. So I'm gonna stick with that one. So yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it, that we're all meant to debate this, but I think everyone's gone. Actually, do you know what? That is actually a really good game. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that means, oh, he's got a point.
Martin, have you changed your mind? Are you still steadfast in the Sonic CD camp?
I mean, the intro of Sonic CD says you can do anything, but one thing you can't do is not say it's the best because it is. So sorry, I'm sticking with this.
Okay. And Bedgell, what about you, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I said it before. I'd like flip flop between Sonic 2 and Sonic Mania all the time. And I mean, when I did that comparison of Sonic 2 to Sonic 3, and everyone was like plowing in the comments telling me how I was wrong. Sonic 3 was better. And I was like, oh man, these guys are making some really good points. That is really good. That is really good. You're right. All of these like stand a good shout. I think it's, to be honest, it's Sonic 2. I probably like come back to it more than any other game. I do play it more than Mania, if I'm being honest, but Mania has such a perfect remix, sort of stands its own. So on any given day, it could take the lead, but I think it's probably Sonic 2.
You broke him. You
Yeah,
broke
Ah,
him.
there we go.
If we ever want to win an argument, just make sure Bedgell's on your side so he can copy you.
There we go then. Sonic 2 wins. Two to 1 and 1. No,
Hang on, but
God,
Sonic
that
CD
was,
was supposed to come first, so technically that is Sonic 2, so therefore I'm right.
Oh, clever.
Technicalities. VAR.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, they're all obviously cracking games. So I think the best way to leave it is, viewers and listeners, for you guys to make up your mind and tell us, do you agree with any of us, or are we all completely wrong? It should be Sonic 3 and Knuckles or Sonic Adventure or the original Sonic the Hedgehog. Let us know in the comments below, or, get in touch via the Sega Guys Discord. If you've enjoyed the video on YouTube, then give us a like and subscribe, because that really helps the channel. And if you want to be extra mega, you can become a member from as little as 99p. And if you are an Akira All Access member, you get early access to content and your name read out in the credits, just like our members are right now. So massive thank you to Luke Thorpe, Schnaplur, Silverspear21, Sancho, Pablo Plays, Drycass, David Owens, Kaiju Leviathan, Tom Fun, Greg Matthews, Nick Tullock, Piotr007, P-Wall, Resident SD, Craig Williamson, Ian Mykowski, and Stiff Peaks, and G-Man. So thank you all. And just remember, if a membership isn't for you, we really appreciate you stopping by and spending your time with us. So to our beloved guests, thank you so much. We've had an absolute blast tonight. Martin, where can people find you?
Yeah, they can find me at the Retro Martin on Twitter or YouTube, or just Retro Martin on Blue Sky.
Brilliant. So make sure you check out Martin's channel and get involved with the Mega Drive challenges that he puts up.
New one tomorrow.
Dibbs and Bedgell, where can they find Gaming for Ages and you guys?
You find us on Twitter, X, on Instagram, on Blue Sky, on TikTok, and on YouTube, of course, which is our platform of choice. Gaming for Ages with little underscores in between.
Fantastic. Make sure you check out Dibbs and Bedgell, especially their book club episodes, which are a fantastic video podcast. So every few weeks, a different game, and play games for their quality, not just for nostalgia.
Sonic CD background, proving on
yes, with a Sonic CD background and using Metallic Madness, had a good future in the intro. So, guys, thank you so much. It's been an absolute blast, and thank you, viewers and listeners, for sticking with us. And until next time, we will see you on the Sega side.
Sega.
There we go.
Yes.